We interrupt tonight's regularly scheduled programming for our feature presentation, the Chris and Albie Treksploration Holiday Special.
Treksploration.
Hello, Treksplorers, and welcome to Treksploration. I'm Albie.
And I'm Chris, and I wish you'd give me some warning before you do that. I'm like looking down, I'm looking over here, and it's like, wait a minute.
I always try to.
Hi, I'm on camera. Hi.
I catch you off guard, so it's exciting and fun. And I usually get a giggle sometimes when I surprise you like that. Like I'll ask you a really deep question, and then I'll say, "Hello, Treksplorers."
You are a devious lad, and I would say worse, but it's Christmas time.
It is Christmas time. Yes. Happy holidays. There are so many holidays to celebrate. As you may know, we are not doing it live this week because this week is recorded last week for the Christmas show. We're taking the time to spend with our family, and but we wanted you to have something to enjoy us.
Yeah.
Enjoy with us. So what we are doing. What are we doing, Chris?
A watch-along?
A watch-along.
Is that what we're going to call it? A watch-along,
yeah,
right?
I think so. It's a video audio commentary.
Okay, I mean, can we call it a comment? If you're not involved in the project,
yeah,
can we call it a commentary?
Well, there are, I don't know if you watch Serial at Midnight, but there's a lot of those that he reviews, like Blu-rays that come out of classic movies where people aren't around anymore. And they didn't make commentaries back then. So it's like film historians and really big fans of whatever movie that is. And they just sit around and talk about it. So it's like a fan commentary, I guess.
We'll call it a fomentary. F-A-U-X. Fomentary.
Fomentary.
This one will be a merry fomentary.
Merry fomentary. Okay, we're thinking of names as we're going.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we said we were going to wing this. I'm only here because you told me I didn't have to write a rundown. So
yeah, it's easy. We're just hanging out by the fireside. Of course, where I am, I have the AC cranked.
And
so
my fireside's downstairs. It's not conducive to recording.
No, that would be cool, though. Well, yeah. Maybe next year. So what we're doing for the holidays, since everybody probably celebrates either winter solstice, Christmas, Festivus, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, and other winter festivals. I think it is the winter solstice today, isn't it? I feel like it is because Google kept showing me pictures of like a sun and stuff.
We can say whatever we want because by the time people watch this, it will have passed.
Oh, that's true.
Do you want it to be the winter solstice today?
Sure.
Wish granted. There you go. That's my Christmas gift to you.
We are celebrating Christmas on the 22nd, I want to say.
Today's the 20th.
Yeah. So, well, Rennie's with her mom on Christmas.
Oh, you're celebrating on the 22nd.
So me and Rennie are celebrating Christmas on the 22nd. Tomorrow's the 21st, which will be our Christmas Eve when I get her back. But I wanted to give her a day after opening her gifts to like play with them and like build stuff. So she didn't have to like open all the stuff and then go back to her mom's kind of thing.
Right.
So that's why we figured it out. And we had to do math like in November for her 3 advent calendars. But we'll make it work. And we're having a nice Festivus dinner.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah. But what we're doing right now is a watch along. If you saw the thumbnail, you probably know before we do. But it's the closest thing we have to a Star Trek holiday movie. It's Star Trek Generations.
Yay, yay.
Yay. There is a Christmas tree in it, a holiday tree.
I do like Generations.
And there's a family. Like, Papa. Don't they call Picard Papa?
The first they call him Uncle, and then as the fantasy goes on, he becomes, oh, Papa.
Well, that's what dreams are like, right? They don't make sense. They make sense in the moment, but when you wake up, you're like, huh.
Well, it just shows you how deep he's getting into it and how much he wants. Well, we're going to be talking about this.
Yeah, we'll talk about it all. So what we're going to do is, of course, this is... We can't break any copyright laws, so we're not putting a copy out. But Christopher D. Philippus and myself, Albie, Holiday Albie in this case,
I'm Holiday. I got dressed. Look, I'm wearing.
Wow, Holiday Christopher D. Philippus.
See that? I was looking, and I don't think I have any Christmas like sweaters.
I got dressed.
Yeah, you look great.
Yeah, this is from Mean Girls. I don't know if I ever told you what my fetish is, but you can guess by this shirt.
I'm gonna say it's girls in Santa Claus clothes.
That's one of them. There's
All
many
right.
of them, but many things I like in life. But so we're going to be watching along with Star Trek Generations. Once I pop the tape in, I will count you down to starting, and we'll do like a 3, 2, 1 thing. And at home, start whatever Blu-ray, DVD, probably streaming you have. You might need to use your phone and a TV at the same time, or 2 windows on a laptop, however you want to do it. But watch the movie along with us and just enjoy the holiday season.
Yeah, or you can listen on the pod feed. We're gonna put this out on the pod feed,
Ooh, yeah, sure. Why
and
not?
that way you can just listen to it in your earbuds.
Yeah,
You can do that too if you want.
if you want.
You're gonna miss my tie, my beautiful Christmas tie. You're gonna miss Albie's beautiful Christmas sweater / necklace.
Should we
/
describe
hat.
each other's outfits?
You have the shorter job on that one, so you describe
Okay.
mine.
Christopher D. Philippus, of course, as always, hair perfect. He's wearing Apple. What are they called? Earpods?
iPod. Yeah, I guess
Earpods?
earbuds.
And some kind of gray and holiday red gingham dress shirt with, I think it's a really nice standard collar with 2 buttons. And he's wearing a Santa Claus tie.
But do you see what Santa's doing?
Uh,
Can you see it? He's
It
putting
looks-
he's got a mad face on it. He's putting coal in people's stockings.
uh-oh.
So yeah.
So he's grumpy. Somebody
Yeah.
somebody was naughty.
Yeah, I think I might have gotten this tie at like Cheap John's in the 90s. And I've
It's the
had it ever
90s, Chris.
since. Yeah.
I like it. I like it. So you may describe my outfit.
Okay, Albie is wearing a sweater that looks like it's got dancing Santa girls on it.
No,
You
that's
said
a T-shirt.
Oh, that's a
but
T-shirt.
close. And it's a Heather charcoal.
Okay, it's a Heather
And it
charcoal
says, what
T-shirt.
does it say?
I can't really see it because you're so small. You put winter is. I can't read it. You got to tell us.
Yeah. Let's see.
You don't know what it says.
The show is one of the words. Is I don't know. Winter is a show? I don't know.
I have to maximize you here. Hang on.
Okay, you can maximize me.
There we go. Winter.
I'll hold it up. I'll do the reverse Picard maneuver. Winter
talent show. Winter
talent show. That makes
see.
sense.
Got a bunch of chicks.
And then at the bottom it says,
Christmas is so fetch. I don't know what that means.
you've never seen Mean Girls?
No. Do you
Watch Mean
why-
Girls.
Why do you have to ask me these questions when you know the answer?
What do you just watch movies with dudes in it?
I
Like
just watch-
I don't want to disparage references.
I don't watch
but,
high school girl movies.
but they're played by 27-year-old women, so it's okay.
Yeah, it's still not my bag, Dad. Anyway,
Not my bag, baby. It's not mine. I swear, it's not mine.
So, and around your neck, you're wearing a festive string of lights. They look like
Yes.
outside bulbs.
Yes.
And you have a nice, like, sort of a nice towny red shirt over your t-shirt. And you're wearing what looks like a silver lame Santa hat.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's kind of disco ball,
Yeah.
if I had to say.
It really looks, it's spiff. I got to tell you.
It's fetch.
It's fetch. What does that even mean?
It just means like cool, whatever that version. And then they kept bragging on the girl and said, stop trying to make fetch happen. But fetch happens, So the reason I'm wearing this red and black, what is it called? Flannel?
Yeah, flannel.
It's that whole Hallmark holiday movie thing where you live in a small town and then you bump into somebody and you kiss at the end. So I'm still hoping for that.
Right. All right. Well, I'm too bad I'm here on Long Island.
So the cashier at Publix talked to me today, but that's her job. So
Well, you had that going for you anyway.
yeah, but she was asking me about Wicked because I was wearing my Wicked Broadway shirt, so she was excited. And we were talking about Cynthia Erivo. Apparently, she's in another movie that I haven't seen yet about Harriet Tubman. So I want to watch that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So we're just going to start this because it's about an hour and a half, right?
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not too extremely long. So let me get the tape out. We're going to be watching the widescreen version tonight.
Hmm.
All right. Widescreen VHS. Going to pop that in. Let me put the box back. I don't know if you saw in the background. Oh, you'd have to maximize it. I'll show you that later as one of the show and tells during the holiday season. So we're gonna pop this in. Oh, did you ever own this one, Chris?
No, that one I haven't owned. I have Wrath of Khan on VHS still.
Oh, nice.
And I have a few of the individual TOS episodes.
Nice. Okay, we're gonna pop that in the VCR. All right. Fast forward through the previews. Okay, get it all queued up.
Theater of the Mind.
And we're gonna be starting it in 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Play.
Merry Star Trek!
Yay! Happy Star Trek.
Are we playing?
Play. VCRs aren't very responsive.
And you should now be seeing the Paramount Mountain and the stars going up and around the Paramount.
How many stars are there, Chris?
51.
22.
22.
That's how many times I've seen these movies. I've counted the stars.
Count
Well,
the stars.
50 if you count the original cast, I'm sure, right? That's probably what you were doing.
And like every other Star Trek film ever created, it opens with a star field and the iconic fanfare.
Yeah, I like the font in this one, and the music, and the blue. It's a nice blue.
Yeah, I can barely hear.
It's really loud for me.
Yeah, okay.
But we've seen it so often.
Yeah, I just like the soundtrack. I'm just being a brat. I love the fact
Yeah.
that there's a bottle of champagne in this one.
Mm-hmm.
So you're drinking cocoa. You're having a nice hot cocoa.
I'm drinking iced tea, Diet Coke from McDonald's, and I made this hot cocoa, and I made sure to make it extra, extra hot, so it would still be hot by the time. Wow, it's hot. By the time
Oh, the time the Christmas thing rolls around.
we got together, so I got some whipped cream. This is no sugar added cocoa. This is some zero sugar Ready Whip. Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay.
Very
And
nice.
just for fun,
For
I'm going
funsies.
to put my chadich is chadich. Just for fun, I'm going to put a little bit of pumpkin spice
See,
on the whipped cream.
Now I have my own holiday drink. I found this in the back of the fridge. If you can see that.
Ooh, that's the real eggnog.
Yeah, Pennsylvania Dutch eggnog. Again,
Wow.
I found this in the back of the fridge from last Christmas. I've been shaking it up.
I don't think it goes bad, isn't?
Yeah, I don't think
alcohol
it does. Yeah, it's very alcoholic, so it's kind of hot. But I love to have this. My mom likes it too, so I'll have a little bit on the holiday after dinner.
That's nice.
And
This is a nice CG bottle.
I have here nice tumbler.
That's
Get
really nice.
A little bit.
I'm eating my whipped cream with a rainbow steel spork.
Oh, very nice. And I have the piece of resistance here.
Nutmeg. Hey, you were thinking the same thing I was thinking. We did not plan this, did we?
No, I don't think so. Jar nutmeg. You can see that I fresh grate my nutmeg. I have my microplane.
Wow.
And my jar of nutmeg nuts, which I'll probably pass them on to whichever children happen to clean out my cabinets when I die, because I think I'm on my second one, and I bought this thing 15 years ago. So just grate a little nutmeg into your eggnog. Oh, it's the greatest thing. And just in time for the bottle to break on the 1701B. Thank you, Rick Berman.
Produced by Rick Berman.
It's the first Enterprise B shot, and of course they're just reusing the Excelsior model from Star Trek 3.
That's fine. Only us know that.
So look, there's my beautiful nutmeg eggnog.
To you and your family.
To you and your family.
Christopher, Laura, Penny, and Crystal.
Well, to you and Rennie and Grosjean and your mom and Frankie and who am I missing?
Grow 2. This is Grow 2.
Oh, we have a second Grosjean.
This is Grogu stunt double who fills in for Grogu when Grogu is at his grandma's.
Gotcha. So
much like Saz, that's Grogu stunt double.
I was going to say that's Saz Pataki.
Exactly. So what did you think of them only bringing the 3 boys back?
Well, I mean, you know, the story that everybody knows about this is that some
people may not.
Well, these were roles written for Nimoy and Kelly for T and for Leonard, and they both declined to be a part of it. So I think that they pretty much just kept the same exact dialogue and instead got Walter and Jimmy to come and do it instead. which I didn't know that. For years I was watching this movie, but then it finally made sense while Chekhov is like, you two are now nurses, which is coming up. And I guess Sulu's got a daughter.
Demora Sulu, named after
Demora
Ronald
Sulu.
D. Moore.
Oh, is that what that was? Okay.
Yep.
See, that's what I didn't know.
Very beautiful daughter.
Yeah. So what do you think of... Oh, you first.
Well, I think we see her in a different version in the Kelvin movies as a littler girl.
Oh, okay. I'm not really
saying?
sure if he had I remember when he met his husband, did they have a child in tow?
I think somebody was holding the kid's hand.
Okay.
But I might have just imagined that for my happiness.
Yeah, okay. I mean, and their happiness too.
Yeah.
So I mean, they bring Shatner out of mothballs for this. Walter will take a payday wherever it comes.
Sure.
I think Jimmy
Khan,
will.
yeah, I know him.
Jimmy will as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they're in business for, to get some earn a living.
I love seeing the Monster Maroons.
Yeah.
Them doing this on the Excelsior Bridge. I noticed it about 2 years ago, and now I can't help but notice it. And it's weird to say that I just noticed it, but relatively speaking.
Right.
The display colors on the backs of these bridges, both in the Enterprise refit, the Enterprise A, and now this, they're always like these weird aqua blues and greens, and they don't seem to match or fit in with anything. And now that I've noticed it, it drives me crazy every time I see it. It's like you needed to pick a different color, especially like the maroons clash.
That
color
blue
scheme.
That blue is definitely a part of this movie everywhere. And it's funny, you can see these monitors are like CRTs.
Yeah. I think that's great.
So they're being retro. And Cameron, of course.
Yeah.
From Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
How'd you like seeing Cameron? That's Alan Ruck.
Alan Ruck. The whole time, every time I've seen it, it's Cameron.
Yeah.
For me. And I just picture him like taking the Enterprise. Is this B, right?
This is the B.
And running the warp drive backwards to get the mileage off and it not working. Then he like crashes on a planet because he really messed it up on the first day out.
So what did you think of the Excelsior design, and were you happy to see one of the Excelsiors named Enterprise?
It looked beautiful to me, especially in the theater. I don't know. I'm a weird Trekkie where I like everything. It's very difficult for me to dislike something. So congratulations to any Star Trek who made me dislike something. But I just, after Star Trek 6, I never expected to see any of the original crew back on the big screen. So I was stoked for Captain Kirk, of course, because, all the promos was, Picard and Kirk, join up. So I was like, oh, this is great. This is like the Avengers movie before those for me. And it was just cool to see Walter and James. And I had met Walter, so that's nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and Shatner, but that was later. And, of course, Tuvok's right there.
He should be anyway.
Right? Tim Russ, isn't he in there?
No,
or is he in Star Trek 6?
He's in Star Trek 6. Or is that could be Tim right there on the right?
Could be.
I don't know.
Our screens are very small.
Yeah. You guys at home will have to let us know. But, okay, now they're reading strange energy that we've never encountered before.
I think it's like that whole theory that Murder, She Wrote, Jessica Fletcher's actually the murderer because everywhere she goes, people die. Maybe it's something about Kirk that everywhere he goes, the end of the universe, something's going to happen.
All I can say is Alan Ruck's hair in this is like the end game, man.
Well, that's your exact haircut. Is that where you're getting it from?
No, I mean, this is how guys, usually do it. Or anyway, I say me, guys, I just comb my hair back. I put a little bit of mousse in it just so it doesn't fall down. But
I use wax.
Wax.
It's like a puck of wax.
Some Brill cream.
So, similar, yeah, but it's just wax. And I was using Axe wax, but it got messed up, so I just couldn't find it. So I got some great value wax, and it seems to be doing the job, keeping the hair up.
Cool.
Yeah,
cool,
that
cool.
blue and green.
Right, it's very jarring.
Yeah,
Started to ruin it. I ruined Christmas.
There's a really cool screensaver that has like LCAR stuff, and you can pick between different eras of Star Trek that had LCARs, and this is one of them. And I ran that on my big editing monitors for a while.
Now, would this be considered LCARs since it's like TOS era?
I want to say the Okudas did it, so yeah, just a primitive version maybe. Because I think these in universe are probably all touch screens. It's just they didn't Yeah, definitely Tim Russ.
Yeah, it's definitely Russ.
They did you see the Tim Russ and Sulu on Voyager? Did you ever watch that episode?
Yeah, I've seen that episode a couple
Yeah,
times.
that was a good one.
I like that one because it doesn't have to be historically accurate because it's his memory, and if his memories are degrading or breaking down or whatever.
Yeah, and eventually your memories are just memories of the memories.
Yeah, every time you remember something, you actually degrade the memory.
That's what I hear. So
I try not to think of my first kiss with Laura too often because I don't want to lose it. I don't want it to become like a game of telephone. Where it's like a record that's been played too much, or
it's like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Right. I don't want it to be like too many generations. It's
replicative fading.
There we go.
Up the long ladder.
They have pills for that now.
they don't work for me.
So what is that ship that got destroyed? Was that the Elorian ship, or
I want to say?
And where are they? I mean, they're coming out of space dock, so this has got to be like within the solar system.
Close,
somewhere.
Yeah. I always assume Earth when I see a space dock, but it could be anywhere, right?
I don't know. I mean, when you think space dock is at Earth, or
yeah.
So
yeah. You know what? I give Kirk a lot of credit in this movie. He didn't bring in all his old friends and demote everybody and say we're taking over.
He's like been there, done that, created a new stage in human evolution. It's somebody else's turn this time.
It is a difficult thing to deal with. Like, I'm not quite Kirk's age here, but as you get older, you realize you're getting older sometimes when you don't consciously know it all the time, and like things happen. And you have to let a younger generation take care of things, and it's just a weird feeling.
I'll let you know when I get there. I'm a giant control freak, so I wouldn't have Kirk's restraint in this.
No.
Yeah, you're nurses. There's McCoy's line right there, and yeah, Tim's obviously not. This is why they didn't use this in Voyager, because he's obviously not a Vulcan.
Right.
Yeah,
but they can make them so now. I mean, we could with a weekend on our home computers.
You could. I couldn't.
Mm-hmm. He might have just got off a mission where he had to observe humans in the past, and they went woo 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 with his ears. Did they ever mention his name?
I don't know. We don't have the closed captioning on.
Oh, that's true.
And there goes that ship.
Yeah,
and it's too bad. Oh well. Tuesday. So I'm trying to look at Scott's collar here. Is he a captain as well?
It seems like it. This is the first time we see him in that yellow, right? Or gold, rather?
Yeah, is the gold, is that the new engineering color?
I'm not familiar with like the pins and pips that make rank for the Monster Maroons.
I'm trying to think for the Maroons, right? They always had like different color undershirts to denote different departments. And then the rank insignia was on the shoulder strap. Is on the shoulder strap. So,
and I never understood it. It wasn't simple like 1, 2, 3, 4.
Right. No. And if you look at Star Trek: The Motion Picture, there's 1,000 color combinations that denote so many different things. Here's
I gotta say,
coming in.
I still have anger for Malcolm McDowell, and I'm not for Soren, for Malcolm McDowell for killing Captain Kirk. It's like my brain doesn't understand still.
I tell you, I don't know. I was going to put a pin on the uniform thing. Do you think because they switched it so that instead of red being ops or services, gold became ops services in the next gen? Because I'm thinking the Monster Maroons transferred all command to red. So do you think that Scotty's collar is the first nod towards making that transition to swapping the colors? Because he's technically ops, right?
Yeah, I like it.
So, yeah, and he's Captain
sciences?
Scott. Yeah, that's definitely... sciences would be blue. Is there a blue one?
Engineering?
See, command is the red and white. That much I know.
These collars are shorter than
engineering would be ops.
Right? These collars look slightly shorter than the previous Monster Maroon movies. To me,
they do. It looks like the turtleneck is a little bit more prominent.
Yeah, I wonder if they were Dickies or actual full turtlenecks.
Now I want to imagine they're Dickies because it's just a lot more fun.
I've imagined they're Dickies before. So I have some show and tells. They're not all Star Treks, but I have some Trek and tells. I have some show and tells.
I have some show and tells too.
Yeah, good.
If I drink. Oh, by the way, this, like I said, this eggnog is from a year ago. So I feel like Arturo in that episode of Sliders when he creates the penicillin. If I drink this, 3 things might happen. 1, it'll do nothing.
Could die.
2,
Yep.
it will cure me. 3, it will kill me.
3.
I'm thinking it might kill me. I don't know. So they don't have any personnel on this ship that can like fix a rupture or a leak. Like they have to send the retired old captain.
I'm thinking there's 15
he takes
people
it upon
there.
himself, but
yeah,
well,
I think there's 15 crew members.
Some of the goddamn reporters, some of those lazy reporters. It's one of the things that I loved, like going out and shooting stuff and learning stuff in my job when I was a journalist.
Yeah.
But I hated the fact that I would go and chronicle people who have actual jobs and actual lives. And my job was just to, intrude on their actual job and actual life. Yeah. I don't know. That's a Chris thing.
Life of a documentarian.
I'm telling you.
I'll save my Trek and Tell for after this exciting scene.
Yeah, this is the crux, man.
Yeah. I was not spoiled on this when I saw it.
So I kind of knew. So yeah, maybe we can talk about this once they start with the row your boat. First of all right, Kirk has been in mothballs for a while, I guess.
Right.
Either he's at the fleet or he's on the A, whatever he's doing. How does he know where to go on this giant new Excelsior class starship? Like he knows intimately the systems. He knows where to access them. He knows which panel to pull out of the floor to go down. It's like, what does he have the specs of the ship memorized?
I think he's maybe low-key a shiphead and he studies the charts and graphs like Mr. Scott, but he doesn't talk about it.
Okay, you think he's low-key Ly Smith?
Yep.
Okay.
But
that's a beautiful shot. Look at that.
The whole thing, the visual effects, even back then, originally in the theater, however they did it, amazing. It shocked me. Like I was like devastated. Like I figured he was coming back because there was, Kirk and Picard riding horses in the previews and stuff.
I learned about it because at the time that this movie came out, I didn't watch Next Gen, and so I didn't know much about anything going on because I was in school. I was busy with other stuff, but I was at the local public library, believe it or not, and John Ordover from the Star Trek book series came and he just gave like a talk, I guess, about the novel series, and then he was talking about this Generations coming out.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah. And as he started getting onto the Generations thing, and he said, and if you know the end, don't spoil anything for anybody. And then he kept going. So I knew that Shatner was going to be in it, but I had no idea anything that was going to go on with it because I wasn't that vested. You know, even if I had wanted to, there was no internet back then. So you really would have to seek this stuff out in like, fan magazines or whatever at the bookstore. So, like, how did you hear about it? Like, when it was on, was it just like newspaper articles and interviews and stuff?
Oh, I wasn't spoiled that Kirk was dying.
Right, but I know you followed this stuff a lot more than I did. So, like,
yeah, I'm not sure. It's had to be like Entertainment Tonight kind of stuff, and maybe magazines. I've always bought the sci-fi magazines, whatever they were, available at the local grocery store magazine department.
Gotcha. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
That moment that happened before where Cameron calls down and says, Kirk, you did it. That kind of echoes when Spock did this kind of same thing in Star Trek II. Like that whole moment where, he did it and yay, we were saved, but never thought that we lost him because of it.
Yeah, the mains are back online. Go, Sulu. So this is the transition to the Next Gen crew. So
yes,
do you have
78 years later?
What is you were holding something up?
A Trek and Tell.
I can't. That is. Oh, it's the Generations calendar.
No, it's the Laserdisc calendar.
That's about the size of a calendar.
Yeah, they're very similar. 12 inches, I think. So I have the Laserdisc. It's a 2-disc set. So 3 or 4 sides, not sure. And it came with this, which isn't always available in them anymore.
You're going to have to describe that to the people listening.
Star Trek The Movie Voyages. It's kind of like the advertisement for the whole full box set.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
And that's after you see that after you paid the original $49.95 for the movie on Laserdisc.
I see. So what do you think of Dorn's costume here? I love it.
I like it. I think they put out an action figure of that.
It's very
I think
dapper.
I had it at one time.
Hmm.
It's really cool. I used part of this in my Picard music video song.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you. I mean, I can get to my story about it, but I really want to know because I know that Next Gen was like your thing, like you
Yeah.
loved it.
Loved it.
Tell me about how you felt when you knew that these characters were coming to the big screen, and then I guess maybe your anticipation and reaction at these first scenes with them in the theater.
When I heard about it, I was sad because Next Gen was ending, but I was happy that they were going to go on to movies because I did grow up watching these Star Trek original series movies and loved them. And I had hoped it would be something like that and not just more TV episodes. And I think there was just like a different feeling sitting there in the theater watching these on the sailing ship, these people. And probably clearer than I've ever seen them before. Because back then, TV wasn't as clear as the movie theater.
Yeah.
Now, TV's clearer than the movie theater sometimes. But I was used to, the 4x3, maybe 40-inch CRT. And it just seemed like they got a promotion. Like Worf was here getting a promotion, but I felt like they all got promoted to be movie stars instead of television stars.
Making it fun. Now, I always love the scene because when Riker says "computer remove Planck," it's almost like when he falls, they have him fall in slow motion, and his legs look like they elongate, like something out of a Roadrunner cartoon.
Yeah, like his torso stays steady, and his legs drop,
and his breeches. Watch this.
Yeah, that had to be done on purpose, right?
I guess to make it more like a Roadrunner cartoon, like a coyote falling off a cliff or something.
How would they do that? Like the stuntman was probably harnessed, and then they had like some kind of green platform that dropped. I don't know how they would do that.
Got me. I guess so. And
because only part of his body was in motion, so that had to be intentional.
Yeah, while he was harnessed, they had somebody with fishing line just pulling the pants down from. Anyway, it's just a weird look.
I'm conflicted about this part because Data still doesn't understand humor and like figures of speech and different things. Yeah, that it's not believable, but we do get wet Beverly Crusher.
Yes, yeah, and she knocks Dorn back off. Poor Dorny.
I remember laughing out loud in the theater.
So, you know why they did this?
Why?
It's to introduce Data to audiences that might not know Data. So
that's true.
I am not. So you got to have that sort of, oh, he's the fish out of water, the android, whatever. I don't know why everybody's like so incensed with him doing
right? It's funny, right? I thought
it's so dumb. I was the guy that this movie was made for. I was the guy that was just like, Next Gen, nope. After like the 4th or 5th episode of the first season, I didn't watch it at all. And I went to see this movie in a theater here called, it was just like the local Smithtown movie theater. And it might even have been a dollar theater at that point because that's how late these. So I watched it like when it was, quote, in the second run theater.
Okay.
And I went to see it and I was just like, I might be conflating this with First Contact. I think I'm conflating it with First Contact.
Second best Star Trek movie out of all.
So I don't, honestly, now I'm telling my First Contact story. I don't remember how I saw this movie, but I remember when I did see this movie, I all of a sudden really, really liked these characters. So this movie is what got me into Next Gen in like a real way to like cause me to revisit it. And I know a lot of people, especially Next Gen fans, love to hate this movie. I don't know why it's got such a bad rap. So I wonder.
I think the most hated ones would be Nemesis.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously
because it was made by somebody who didn't care or like Star Trek, and probably 5 gets a bad reputation, but I love 5. Insurrection is a TV episode turned into a movie, and people didn't like that. But you can't have end of the universe stakes every single movie; then it gets old.
No,
so you need a palate cleanser.
I feel like I'm not crazy about Insurrection, but I feel like Insurrection was made for the fans of Next Gen. I feel like we got This was like the passing the torch thing. First
Yeah.
Contact was the action adventure movie, and time travel. That was the science fiction action adventure movie. And I feel like with Insurrection, they tried to bring it back to the center of what made Next Gen so popular in the hearts and minds of the fans that watched it for that 7 years. They tried to go back to, I think, that feeling.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying the movie is good or bad. I personally didn't enjoy the movie. I've gone back to it a couple of times. I still find it, meh. But
whatever that ineffable greater than the sum of its parts, it just didn't have that.
Yeah, and I feel this one does.
Yeah,
so
it's gorgeous too. The cinematography.
Yeah, look at now
so
all
good.
that. It's not that flat TV lighting, that bright flat TV lighting.
Yeah.
There's nuance. There's shadow. There's so much depth. Like this bridge never looked so good.
Yeah, it kind of makes me sad that we didn't get more of it because I'm not as much of a fan of the E as the D.
I do love the E. I love the Sovereign class.
Just do it. So I have this. These are the 4K versions. They were coming out individually, but I knew they were coming out in a set because, they always do. So I waited for the complete set. So I got the original series movies on 4K.
Cool.
Yep.
That's not Blu-ray. Is that different?
4K Blu-ray is just clearer. It's 4 times clearer than Blu-ray.
Oh, okay.
It's like 4 HD screens together.
So the question I have is, those are the original series movies you said? Do they have the director's cut of? I guess it would be the remastered 4K that they had from Paramount Plus.
Yeah. And I'm not sure. Remember I was talking about perf damage? I want to say this is the remastered 4K that came in it, but there was two versions. So I don't know which one is which. Maybe people watching, listening can comment. But it does have a 4K remastered version, but of the special version. But I don't know if it's the extra special version.
So refresh my memory. We're getting back to the movie. They're on this ship that looks like it's been damaged somehow. What ship is this?
Yes, and that's where Picard was standing when he was Locutus, and he said, "Sleep."
So it's not a Borg cube.
No, but they're just using everything from that they had stored in the stages that wasn't too identifiable.
But this is just like generic ship number 5 that they stumbled across that was damaged, right? And
I think so.
There's Soren. Here he is.
Oh, what's that movie's in? Time After Time, or is it the other time one?
Malcolm McDowell?
Yeah.
That's the one with Jack the Ripper. Yeah, I think that one is, I believe it's Time After. Well, that might be
Somewhere in Time? No, Time After Time.
Yeah, Somewhere in Time is the Christopher Reeve one.
Yeah, I have that one.
Time After Time is the H.G. Wells Jack the Ripper.
Yeah.
And
San Francisco,
David Warner is Jack the Ripper, who comes and plays in Star Trek 6. He plays Chancellor
Gorkin.
Gorkin, thank you.
Like, I wasn't sure what you were talking about, but every time I hear the word Chancellor, I just say Gorkin after it.
I think Gowron, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Spot! Yeah, you're right. So people are watching this that didn't necessarily watch Next Generation at all, so they have to know that he's struggling with being human. So
exactly. And it sets up a big arc for him. And I kind of really liked the fact that they played around with the emotion chip. And I don't know what the fandom reaction was, because I know that Data is so beloved, and the fact that he's striving for emotions or striving anyway to understand humanity is such a central core of his character. And it seems like they circumvent all of that with this chip. And as a fan, I know that you love everything, but I mean, were there certain aspects that you're like, well, that's cheap, or that's a letdown, or I just wonder,
Not at all. I was just sitting there giddy as a schoolboy.
Like for me, I just thought it was a very interesting arc for him. I like the fact that he's trying to contend with emotions now instead of striving for it. It's be careful what you wish for. Right
there, I was just wondering, filament or magnets?
I'm thinking magnets.
I'm thinking little piece of fishing string. But, who knows?
It's the same fishing, the same fishing
had to be
line.
Magnets there, right? Or just a thinnest thread, but he didn't have to break it, so magnets, yeah. So that's where my head went. But it's cool to see the little Easter eggs they put in there with like the Sherlock Holmes pipe and like the hat from the holodeck and different things in there.
Ba-ba-ba-bum-bum.
Oh, I saw the new Superman trailer.
Yeah.
I liked it. It seemed fine. I was hoping for the guy we interviewed. What was his name?
I just love that they can take Data's head right
Take
off.
his head off.
Right. You never see a seam with Data.
He has so many. Well, he has so many different panels that come off.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy that they do this, and you see them in First Contact, and it's just like,
Yeah, and I like that they're like Radio Shack LEDs because he's so advanced that he has Radio Shack LEDs.
it's very colorful.
Yeah, they were more fancy and futuristic back then. Now
You know,
it just looks like something you buy at the
Soon
dollar
just put them
store.
in for Jordy's enjoyment. He knew Jordy was coming along, and he'd be tooling around up there a lot. So
You think if he's ever in the dark, like in a dark cave, and doesn't have a flashlight, he just takes the top of his head off. Don't worry, I have this. Yeah, very dark lighting. Like it's unusual for Picard not to have like crazy blind you bright lights on. But
well, he's not doing
family
archaeological surveys. He's brooding over the loss of his entire freaking family.
yeah, the Picard name will not go on. Right?
I guess not. I mean, I really dug that about this too. And then after I saw Home, which no, that's the Enterprise. What's
Family?
Family. After I saw Family, and then I rewatched this, these scenes affected me even more. Like I didn't even really know
that before
like
Family.
who his family was.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
the little boy that kept calling him uncle.
Yep.
Yeah, that was sad. It seemed like out of left field, but I guess that's how that kind of stuff happens.
Now, were you waiting for movie uniforms, or were you happy to just see like the regular next gen uniforms?
I was hoping they would do something Monster Maroon-y, like maybe in a different way, in a futuristic way, but I didn't mind it much.
See, I kind of like that they kept the regular uniforms. I know there's a whole story behind why they kept the regular, because they did have another design, correct?
Yeah, and they just didn't go with it. They didn't like it, the director, I think, at the end, so they just wore the next-gen costumes.
Right. So from what I understand, there was something to do with, I don't know what they call this up here, the chess piece where it separates the black and the gold, or the black and the,
Okay.
They call it like the bevel or the...
Okay.
And the one that they designed for the new uniforms, it just never sat right. It always bunched up. It just never looked right on camera. So that's why they went back to the classic ones. But I think it's a good thing because it provides continuity. I can understand why in the TOS movies you needed new uniforms, because those were just cheap velour costumes.
Yeah.
These have a certain, I think they're pretty stately. I think
Yeah,
they translate very well to film.
For me, probably these uniforms and Monster Maroon are my two favorite out of every single Star Trek uniform. But I was happy to see this on the big screen and clear, like so where I could see the stitching and the seams, because I like to sew uniforms sometimes.
That's cool. Look at Malcolm McDowell.
So it's exciting.
He's just so badass.
He is. I think they picked a good actor to be the villain. And he's, from his perspective, I could understand what he's doing, but,
Time is a fire in which we all
In which we
burn, Captain.
I've used that line so often. I
Here it is,
remember
here it
Rennie
is.
being like,
Uh-oh.
like I was saying to that to Rennie when she was a toddler.
Oh, wow. Jesus, poor kid.
I know, right? But I wanted her to value her time on this planet. So, but yeah, she knows that one. I have certain go-to lines, and that's one of them.
And again, the reaction here from Patrick, I think, is fantastic. Because you got to match. It's just his. You've heard of like bitchy resting face?
Yeah.
Freaking Malcolm McDowell has intensity resting face. Like no matter, it's just something about his eyes. No matter, he could be the most relaxed you've ever seen a human being, and he looks like he's staring right through you and is ready to run you through. There's something about, he's got a very intense look about him. So I think that's why I
time after time I remember him
Soren is
smiling most of the movie.
He's a dangerous villain,
It's cool to see Guinan in this, Whoopi, of course, and that joke where Data says it's revolting, and she says more, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Yes, please." That's just so funny every time.
Yeah, I always thought Whoopi was a great part of the main show. I wish that they would have had more of her. So the fact that they
Yeah.
got her for this film really made me happy. And this is maybe the first time we see any of the D crew in the alternate uniforms. And I guess they're at that point they're the DS9 uniforms.
Yeah, literally. This
Yeah.
is Ben Sisko's uniform.
Yep.
It's a hand-me-down, and it kind of fits him. He's a little too tall for it.
I wonder if he's like, smells like Avery.
I would be. So that's why you get those collector cards with the pieces of uniform, so you can go, oh, okay, Robert Duncan McNeil.
That's not creepy or stalkery at all.
Like you're not going to smell the cards, right? Kate Mulgrew smells like tangerine. He's getting all the jokes.
Yeah. See, I like this because when he's like, we don't have time for this, and it starts malfunctioning, I felt really bad for Data.
Yeah. Farpoint mission. That was a good callback.
See, I think that they put some pretty good Easter eggs. I'm wondering what kind of audience, because they're always looking for that mythical general audience that will be swayed to come see a Star Trek film, and we know that it's just not going to happen. Like,
I think
Star
it
Trek
did with
films
First
have to
Contact.
be made for fans.
I want to say First Contact and the one with the whales. I don't think there's a person that was alive during that time.
I don't consider The Whales a Star Trek movie.
Right. Well, that's how you do it. Right.
Yeah,
Star
I know.
Trek
It's
4.
like it's everybody's favorite, but I've said this before, and I'll say it again when we review 4. If my mom can enjoy a Star Trek movie, is it really a Star Trek movie?
Sir, there be whales here. How do you know he didn't invent this stuff? So yeah,
Mr.
acoustic
Tricorder.
paneling. Yeah, like all the props and different things thrown in these piles in the Ambergosia Star Station. What is it called?
Ambergris.
Ambergris. It's just extra stuff left over from other episodes, I think.
Yeah, I think I've seen that little globe before. Wasn't
Yeah.
that in that might have been
Liaisons?
ugly bags of mostly water?
Oh, it might have been. I was
Yeah.
thinking Liaisons when Picard's other girlfriend was like running an experiment in the dark.
Oh, I'm thinking of Vash, as he calls
Vash.
her. Everybody else calls
The
her
other
Vash.
girlfriend, the one that played the piano.
I thought that was Vash.
No, she didn't play the piano.
Oh, okay.
Did you see that episode?
I'm sure I have.
Yeah, where Jean-Luc is playing the flute with somebody else's hands.
Look at that photon pod.
Mark
there.
V.
Yeah. Isn't that that's like Spock's coffin?
Probably was. I saw that in the Vegas Museum, the actual Spock's coffin.
I think his was a Mark IV.
Might have been. It was black, wasn't it? I thought.
Yeah.
He's understanding humor.
Yeah.
It wasn't designed to mesh with his systems, so I think it was a software problem.
I think it's great that they put like a motion screen on the tricorders, because if you look at the tricorders closely on the Next Gen TV show, you can tell they're just stickers on there.
Yeah, but it was low def.
Yeah,
But
I know.
They knew this was going to be huge, so they had to. I think I remember hearing probably one of the bonus features on all the discs. The Okudas had to like update a lot of things because they were going to be seen finally, not a blurry little thing in the background, but things that you could actually read. Yeah, and the special effect here when his face goes all
it goes
wonky,
all he goes all
it's
flox.
pretty good. It kind of holds up.
There it is. Yeah, it goes all all floxy.
Yeah, it holds up.
Optimism.
They morph it enough to where it looks like it's plausible that his servos are just freaking out
because he's just not human.
Yeah, but isn't he the most human of all of us?
No, that would have been Spock, and he's dead.
Yeah, of all my friends,
actually, he's not dead. Not yet.
Spock's not dead.
He lives. He lives to go into the Kelvinverse.
Yeah, he goes in the Kelvinverse. I'm trying to
Goes to the
think.
Kelvinverse.
No,
From the comic book tells us that Geordi sent them with the red matter in the squid ship. Geordi built that ship.
Oh, cool on Geordi. I think they did mention he died in the third Kelvinverse.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they did when Leonard died. They mentioned that.
Yeah,
but I'm saying Spock in this time in the timeline.
Oh, in this time, yeah,
he's still
around.
alive, just hanging around. I guess he's on Romulus doing reunification or whatever.
Reunification,
right? He's there having Romulan kids.
Yeah, as you do.
Oh,
I thought
see?
these photos were nice with the
But-
space tape around them.
They're not the
No.
same actors.
I noticed that right away, and
Yeah.
that was pretty disappointing.
That is not Robert.
It's
That
like
guy-
pay the
guy's-
money.
That guy's too happy to be Robert.
But also, what it's like 5 years later, right? So you can't really, unless they took photos on the day when they were filming Family, you're SOL.
You think that they take
Starfleet
set
Avalon.
photos all the time? You think they would have taken?
Yeah, but they would have been obvious photos of the episode.
Okay.
So
If you say
you know,
so.
what do? You just recast it?
Well, I mean, how
They should have
often?
recast
you
it
know
to
what?
like younger.
In universe, it makes sense.
Okay.
Because Picard goes back home once every 75 years. So he's always out in the Delta Quadrant or in the Beta Quadrant or, Borging it up somewhere.
Yeah, you got to Borg it up.
And I love the fact that he's got this old-timey photo album. I don't even have one of those.
I have many from passed down from my family and when I was a kid and stuff.
But you think they would be all analog? It's like space tape and camera film.
And it might be one of those things like we saw in Picard. He just stores it like in the computer, and when he wants to pull it out and look at it and smell it and feel it, he just replicates it.
I wonder if you could now think of this.
Mm-hmm.
If they have digital photos, right? Because
Yeah.
everything's digital, right? So you just take it with your comm badge or whatever you got. You got your tricorder. Then they're in the computer. They're in a cloud somewhere. You could say, computer, replicate an old-timey photo album for me with space tape. And the computer could just take those images and make you an old-time, and whoop, there it is.
I think that's what happened.
Huh, I never even considered that.
Yeah. But he likes books, so maybe he just got a bookshelf.
And he
somewhere.
likes antiquarian stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, so
And Marina Sirtis.
he loves, yeah. It's not okay. Oh, poor Picard. Shoving his emotions down.
Now this was
where they can't hurt him anymore.
this was Patrick Stewart's idea, right? This whole thing.
I'm not sure. You tell me.
From what I understand, listened to other commentaries. I think it was his idea. He wanted to add like a little bit of development for the character and some emotion, and you have to have that acting scene for the Oscars.
It gives him range, It lets him flex different muscles because Picard can be a little bit staid.
Yeah. And
I mean,
just delivering dialogue, walking back and forth.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, Patrick brings it to life. He's a great actor. He's very nuanced. He can make even the most stilted stuff interesting. But
so good
to
I've seen him in
translate
so many
onto
things
a
where he's
big
amazing.
screen, especially again to that mythical middle of the road moviegoer that might just see this casually, they don't have time to say, well, I know you spent 7 years with this character, his every move. So for a fan like you, just the cock of an eyebrow could speak volumes, but will that translate to a general audience in a movie theater? So no, you need the crying stuff. And my nephew is dead, and the siblings of starship captains of the Enterprise do not have happy fates.
No,
Think of poor Sam, and I guess Peter is still alive, but Sam and Alorian or Alora was Alora.
Sam died.
Yeah, Sam was killed by a flying
Rubber vomit.
Yeah, flying vomit. Poor guy.
Yeah. When I saw this originally, I thought they don't have like AI. Well, I didn't think AI back then, but something like that, fire suppression systems. But then I remembered his brother just liked everything old, so he probably wouldn't have that kind of stuff.
They're in a stone chateau. Like, what could burn?
Yeah. Well, obviously, people.
They can. Yeah.
That face. Yeah.
So that's that.
Was it stone or was it wood? I always pictured wood.
I think it's wood and stone.
Oh, because it was all stone. It's just people on fire running around, which is so much worse.
It's a rambling country manse. There should be a moat around it, Yeah.
I think the comm badges did get an upgrade for this because on the TV show they're just painted plastic. So these are actually metal.
These are actual metal. They're actually made of gold.
That'd be cool.
Marina looks fantastic in this movie.
Gorgeous, always gorgeous. Met her in real life a few times. Gorgeous every time.
What's happening here? Was this Soren? Was this Soren breaking the sun?
He might be. Frakes looks good in this one. This is like Frakes at his peak, I think. He doesn't look old. He doesn't look young. He looks just right.
He's the Frakesiest Frakes here.
Frakesiest Frakes there is, yeah.
And he's rocking that new uniform.
Yep, from Avery.
I'm loving it. Da 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 da.
Worf looks different too. Maybe did they maybe switch out hairstylists and makeup people?
Yeah,
I don't know. You would think the Westmore.
I feel like every
still do
iteration
it.
Worf's makeup evolves a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess because people change and maybe his head changes shape, so why not use it for a?
I'm glad he never guessed it on Disco.
Oh my god! Could you imagine?
I think they knew that was going way too far.
Wow. Oof.
Yeah.
There
A
we
lot
go.
of torpedo tubes.
I love Soren's his like little wrist. His little
Yeah,
wrist
it's
gun.
kind of cool.
Yeah.
What the hell's he doing? So he's trying to get back into this energy ribbon, the Nexus, so he can go back to heaven, basically.
Yeah, whatever his heaven was.
Yeah, and I guess it's like a dream. But what do they call that when you control your dreams?
Lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming. So basically something like that, right?
Oh,
Or are they real? But I don't know.
No, well, it's called. I have a book called Lucid Dreaming. So
yeah,
that's what they call it. Quote scientifically, end quote.
But he's like destroying whole populations and planets and stuff to get back in.
It's one thing I never noticed about this. When they have the regular TV uniforms, are their comm badges? Are they the new comm badges or are they the TV comm badges?
Oh, you thinking? Well, we should keep an eye on that.
Yeah, because I just
forth.
noticed it on Frakes' uniform that it was the sort of the newer one with the they're the new
almost
ones.
Voyager.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
They don't have the weird oval. They have.
I wonder if they just borrowed those from Voyager. For apparently they were trying to save money anyway,
Exactly.
they can, which makes sense.
You always got to save money.
Yeah, but I think we got boob windows coming up.
Klingon boob.
That's
windows.
this movie, Lorsa and Bator.
That's another callback to the series.
Yeah. Now, is this like the Klingon bridge they had, and it's just so detailed, and when they didn't need it, or
Is
did
that
they
Renee?
rebuild this?
Didn't it kind of look like
It
Renee?
looked like him, didn't it? I just thought that. Does he have any lines? I don't remember any. See, I don't think I could date a Klingon woman because the eyebrows.
I don't know. I mean, you might be into that. It could be just like Jennifer Connelly when she was 19. She had some real brows going there.
And it was weird back then, right? It was like a thing. But now, like, so many people are rocking guy brows.
You know who
now.
else had like the big eyebrows was Michelle. Blame it on Rio. I want to say Michelle Johnson. She
Not
had,
sure who that
she had
is.
some big eyes. You won't notice them after a certain part of the movie, but
Yeah.
you won't be looking at the eyebrows. Is what I'm saying.
I grew up with, where there was always those like almost pencil thin eyebrows or shaped eyebrows.
Mhm.
So the thick eyebrows still get me after all these years.
It's oddly compelling.
I always used to compliment women when they had nice eyebrows. I'd say, "You have nice eyebrows," and they like look at me like I was crazy.
Eyelashes. They like to hear that. So.
Yeah, I've been accused of wearing eyeliner, but I don't usually.
It's guyliner.
Yeah, guyliner because I have long lashes, but they're just naturally luscious. More CRTs.
There you go.
Investigates.
Now Gates is a vision right there. Holy crap!
Yes.
Look at that hair.
Check it out on a podcast near
This
you.
is all just like male gazy right here.
It is. Well, I think I'm just excited to see them next gen in this movie because First Contact, it's a different ship, different uniforms, different everything's different. To me, this is the most next gen of the next gen movies. I guess Insurrection is a next gen episode, but it's still in the future. They got to be fake candles, right? You don't want to burn the building down.
No, those are real candles. She's gonna learn.
Think so?
Yeah, she's had a lifetime or more to collect a lot of candles.
Where is it? So I have this.
She keeps them in dry dock. Febreze.
Febreze, limited edition, white pine. What does it say? White pine and something winterberry. So that's what this Watchalong smells like.
Okay, is that what the scented candles in Guinan's quarters?
Maybe this is basically Christmas tree smell. Like when you walk into the hardware store and they got the Christmas trees and they smell like Christmas tree.
I hear you.
Yeah, Whoopi Goldberg. Love Whoopi Goldberg. Always have. I think, what was it? Jumpin' Jack Flash. Ever since then.
I was never an especial fan of her outside of Guinan. I did see Jumpin' Jack Flash in the theater, but when you were at that age, I was at the age where we went to the movies, every Friday and Saturday night. So
Yeah, and they only put out, 4 movies a month?
Exactly. So it was only a finite amount of movies you could see.
Yeah. Yeah, these two in a scene together, wow. Even on TV, they had it.
Wow.
I think they respected each other and they worked up to each other's level.
And they were totally boning the entire time.
I would.
So I put that poll out to my friends on the Cosmic Potato Alliance. And I was just like, because I was doing my first rewatch of Next Gen. And I said, are Picard and Guinan boning? And everybody's like, oh, totally. Oh, yeah. Oh, no. Yeah. Of course.
It was never explicitly said, but I think there is one line, and it was the way they acted it. I think that's what they acted.
Yeah, no, I think it's just like, and I feel like it's like you said, it's like a mutual respect thing.
Yeah, but on the actor level, but on the character level,
I'm talking about on the character. For me, on the character level.
Both in different ways. But yeah, they definitely had a sexual and romantic and loving relationship. But it was one of those where it wasn't like what would you say? It wasn't a committed thing. It was like just part of their friendship. I feel like
they were friends with benefits, and I feel like it's much more casual mores and traditions in the 24th century, where it wouldn't be weird if that's what they decided they wanted it to be. Mixed Nuts. This is a
different holiday movie I like.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it?
If I have, I don't remember it.
It's really good. It's worth the watch. I bought it on Laserdisc.
Who else is in it?
Oh, like a whole bunch of people that I don't have my glasses on right now.
Oh, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Now they're going all Manchurian Candidate on this guy, right?
Oh, Geordie, you mean?
Geordie. Yeah, a whole bunch of cool people. I think actually Adam Sandler's in it, so that's probably why you haven't watched it.
Oh, more than likely.
But Julia
Gulia?
Yeah, maybe. But it's really good, and it's based on a French film. And so me and Rennie watched this one year, and then we found out it was based on a French film. So the next year we watched the French version and that version.
Oh.
Yeah, she doesn't mind subtitles. She's a smart 12-year-old.
Now, do you think that it was in LeVar's contract that he gets to take his shirt off in this scene?
They probably paid him extra.
Show how buff he is.
Yeah, he's built. They probably gave him a few months' notice. But when I met him in person, he was built, and this was years later. Doesn't that D look good?
Yeah. Looks like
it's the fat ship. The fat one.
This is one.
Have you ever played the video game, Star Trek Generations PC game?
No, of course I haven't. What a silly question.
A lot of it takes place in this stellar cartography.
It just looks like they're in Cerebro. I love it.
Did they use the same thing for when he was Professor X? Maybe
that's Cerebro. So yeah. So just get him a wheelchair. And what do they call you? Wheels?
Just watching the movie now.
Yeah, sorry.
Now these are Voyager comm badges, yeah.
Yeah, having some long. And here, there's Brent now in the new uniform, and Picard. They did this transition. Yeah. Like you don't even notice it because it's so natural in universe to us.
Yeah,
that
I thought it was purposeful.
Yeah, these switches don't even faze me. It's just like, oh yeah, well they're still in the Starfleet uniform.
And it's one of those things where like the original series and the movies took place so far apart.
Yeah.
That you didn't need to show a transition. It was just like, okay, this is what it is now. But this is you're just coming off the series into this movie, so makes sense.
It just gives a nice.
I kind of like them.
I like them a lot, and I'm really glad that they didn't go with a third variant on the uniform. That's one thing that I have a little bit of trouble now with the new Trek. Every single show has a completely different uniform. It's like, aren't you all part of the same fleet? I don't get it.
So I guess whoever made that call and nixed the new uniforms made the right decision.
To me, they did anyway.
Yeah, and this also, like, it makes it more feel like Star Trek because you're used to these guys in these colors and these styles. So if they went completely out of left field in a different way, a different direction,
Well, they do in First Contact, but it still seems natural within universe to me because I think maybe because those uniforms are just so freaking cool.
Did Deep Space Nine change to those by then or no?
After First Contact came out, then they swapped to the new ones, and I think they even commented, "How do you like the new uniforms?"
Mm-hmm.
And Voyager, it was fitting to me that Voyager always kept these because being stranded in the Delta Quadrant.
Yeah,
they wouldn't.
Even though they did have contact towards the end,
they could have gotten the new uniform specs.
Yeah, they still didn't.
Janeway was like, send coffee instead.
All those replicator rations they had. Maybe they didn't replicate their uniforms. Maybe they just washed them in the sonic shower.
How does sonic shower get rid of odor?
Yeah, I'd rather have the water.
This dressing down here. It's just like, hey, asshole, you think you're the only one going through shit? My whole family just burned in a fire. And guess what I got to do? I got to chase this jerk through a nexus. He's like, suck it up, Buttercup.
Basically.
walk it off.
It seems out of character for Picard, but it's what he needed to do at that time. Basically, he was like verbally slapping him into coming to his senses. And what is it, by First Contact, he just cocks his head a little bit and it turns off.
Sometimes I envy you, Mr. Data.
Yeah. I wish I could have turned my emotions off here and there.
And I think that's why another reason why Insurrection made the choices it did. Like, Data left he left his emotion chip home. Basically, they wanted the series Data for that. Again, to get back to form. Or whatever they were trying to do there. Just make it as much like the TV show as possible.
Didn't Frakes direct Insurrection as well?
I'm not sure.
I want to say.
Probably.
Yeah. I remember I have a book somewhere. It's like a hardcover, The Making of Star Trek Insurrection, like coffee table book with like stories and beautiful photographs and stuff.
I love this effects scene. I love the way that they suss it out and they show how the Nexus moves. And this is again one of the most visually satisfying sequences of the film. Maybe I just like planetariums. So
planetariums. You have to visually explain it to an audience that might not be versed in the technobabble or physics or astronomy. Not everybody's a nerd that's going to go to the movies that night to watch it, maybe.
I think this proves that the Enterprise D is just, the Galaxy class is just too big. Like, they're just making up rooms now to fill the space. It's like, not only can you have stellar
belt there?
Cartography, you can have a room that's the size of a football field for stellar cartography. I don't know if he was.
You would think every room would just be a holodeck,
right? I'd say to you, hey, rewind it, but then we'd lose the track of it.
Yeah, then we'd lose the sync. But I swear he was wearing like a thin belt, like a thin black belt. Maybe.
But no, you know what? I think those are sort of like the Enterprise jumpsuits. I think that they just have like an elastic towards the middle to give it a little bit more of a form fit.
Yeah, usually on the sides. But like, I don't know. I'm gonna watch that again later.
Yeah. Take a look.
Maybe I just saw it for the first time.
They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah, beautiful shots of the D. Back to the Klingons. What did you always think of the Duras sisters?
I don't know. I mean, they were just kind of one-note Klingons. We like to talk like this.
I know if there was some kind of alien species that we interacted with, I would totally learn their language. Or
only
is he speaking
Klingon? Only if they look like the Duras sisters.
Yeah, or they have universal translators everywhere too.
Yeah, exactly. You just put the
Babblefish, maybe.
Put the Babblefish in your ear, and you'll be fine.
Babblefish. Do you remember the story? They took these action figures out of the stores because they had boobs.
No, I didn't know that. They made
and then they reissued them. I think, without a boob window, but they're still, you can get them online. The boob window action figures.
I love that, whatever that Klingon thing is, it looks like a SETI eel. That's like a Klingon memory chip. Isolinear. We'll call it an isolinear chip. Even their isolinear chips are weapons, potentially.
Everything.
All right? Everything's got a point on it. Well, I guess I could stab you in the jugular with this if I needed
Even their
to.
toes. There's like spikes on their toes.
And then apparently they can take those spikes off and build a phaser out of them.
Yeah. Heart of Glory?
I think so.
I want to say.
That's a galaxy class starship. See, that's just
I think they were good, and I like that they pulled the guest stars from the TV show. They didn't like recast them with like some stunt casting famous people.
Mm.
You know, you didn't have like Jane Curtin and who else was on Kate and Alley?
Susan Hayward.
St. James.
You didn't have Jane Curtin and Susan Oliver.
Susan Oliver. They should have brought her back. She would have looked like she did without the theologian's help by now.
That's so mean of us.
Yeah, but hey, it happens to all of us. I mean, look at me. I was a handsome man at one point.
What are they talking about here?
15 seconds.
All right, so now let's see if this is a belt. See if the light hits it.
It might have just been in that scene. I don't know. But I swear I saw like a thin leather belt. And I was like, what? It might have just not been tailored to him at the point yet. And he was just like, replicate me a belt in the universe.
He hadn't Picard maneuvered it enough.
Yeah. They look gorgeous as Klingons go.
He must be the only engineer in Starfleet who doesn't go to engineering.
And that person at, is it Khan or Ops, the one on the right side of the screen to us, or the left? She was I think she was a background actor all throughout the 7 seasons, and they brought her over to the movie.
I think, did they call her Lieutenant?
Hearing that on, was it Mission Log?
Yeah,
or
Lieutenant Junior J.
Yeah. So I got a little bit of an unboxing. So after the Christmas time, it's still holiday, so I got other holiday movies. And I haven't yet to fully open this. And you know, one of my favorite, well, I have 2 favorite movies. The other one of my favorite movies is a holiday movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it is
When Harry Met Sally is not really a holiday movie. That is your favorite movie.
It takes place during Christmas and New Year's Eve.
Just because a movie happens to have a couple of Christmas scenes doesn't make it like a Christmas movie.
They play Christmas music. They're buying a Christmas tree. They count down to midnight at the end and the beginning.
I guess to me, a Christmas movie is like a movie that takes place specifically at Christmas.
Well, it's a holiday movie. For me, I watch it every New Year's Eve.
Okay. That's beautiful.
And this is my 3rd version on Laserdisc.
And
this is
I have the soundtrack on cassette.
Japanese version. That's cool. I don't. I have it on CD.
Would you like me to send you the cassette?
No, you have to put it on your shelf behind me so I have something to look at.
I don't know where it is. Downstairs somewhere. If they asked me, I could write a book.
But this is the Japanese version with the Obi on it, which is this little card on the side. So it's a little bit rare because it's from '89. So I like to watch it every New Year's Eve. It makes me believe in love again.
Well, that was your whole thing of New York was the Harry Met Sally tour. So
yeah.
So the question I have for you,
and we really made it work.
You said you have 2 favorite movies. I thought that you were going to pull out another one besides Harry Met Sally. So then, what's the other favorite?
Oh, Back to the Future. Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm basic.
I always figured that would be a favorite, but I thought like your drop dead favorite movie of all time was Harry and Sally.
Probably. I probably like When Harry Met Sally more than Back to the Future, but they're both up there. They both release the dopamine every time.
There you go. That shot, they put that shot in there just for you.
POV shot. I would take that scene and give it to AI and see what else.
All right, enough. We're gonna get in trouble. You get stuck.
See, maybe it wasn't a belt. Maybe it's like a waistband. No, he's still wearing the old uniform. Jordy is.
Yeah.
And of course, we have Alyssa Ogawa. Made it to the films. Love her.
Giving birth to cats.
As you do.
Yeah.
But she saved the ship.
Data's feeling sad.
They're science besties.
Where's Jordy's comm?
Did they?
Yeah, he just has no comm on that shirt.
I wonder if they choose their clothes or they just replicate. Look,
Yeah,
it's a
see,
belt.
look. Maybe it is.
That's a jumpsuit and a belt.
All right. If you
I've
say
never
so.
noticed that before.
And you're the costume
And
guy.
water barrels from the feed store. So, villain, yes, no, kills Kirk and tries to destroy everything to get back to where he's going. Or is he a victim of circumstances and is beyond his control?
Well, no, he's a villain. I mean, he's destroying entire systems just to make the Nexus come to him, because that's one of the conceits about this movie that I thought was real dumb. I mean, if you can just get swept up in the Nexus, but your ship will get, destroyed before you can, quote, reach it, then why don't you just set like a long range beam and beam into the Nexus? Like, I don't, if you're going to materialize in there anyway, like there's so many ways you could have done this. Soren Wheeler.
Or spacesuit? Or would that get destroyed? Like if you just got dropped off?
No, because I mean, if the thing is gonna sweep across a planet, like why would it destroy a ship and not a planet?
Why would it destroy a planet and not a person?
Right? I don't get it.
Maybe it does, and maybe it's some kind of afterlife thing.
I mean, maybe they maybe it's like a beaming technology.
Maybe
they're materializing in there somehow. That is one elaborate thing that he made there.
Yeah. Unnecessarily elaborate.
Right?
Like, why would he have fencing there?
Yeah, why would you have clamps? I guess to keep the raccoons out.
Space raccoons.
Yeah, he can leave his sandwich. He can leave his space sandwich in there, and so the space raccoons don't get it.
I like how Picard isn't immediately going to fist fighting, but he's like trying to talk him to death like he does. That usually does work.
That's the second Picard maneuver.
Yep.
Well, I have a little show and tell here.
Ooh, what do you have?
I went to the post office box today.
Oh, what did we get from who?
Something addressed specifically to me.
And Christopher D. Philippus, published author.
It says Christmas wishes. And
Christmas wishes.
Kids wassailing around the tree.
Aww.
And it says, may your Christmas be merry and bright. Tom Quinn, cosplay dad. Hope all is well with you.
Aww.
So I got
nice
from Tom. So thank you, Tom. Thank you, cosplay. Thank you, cos.
Thank you, Tom. We have a card not open from him yet. I'm waiting until Serenity gets back to open it.
Oh, okay. I didn't know who it was from. I didn't know what to expect. What do you think of the Data Life Form song?
Oh, I love it. Sing along now. I do when I'm not talking about cards from Tom Quinn. Tom Quinn gave Serenity, I think she was like 2 years old, a grape soda button from the movie Up.
Oh, yeah.
Because he cosplays the old guy from Up.
Yep, the old man with the balloon.
Yeah, so he sent her a button, an Ellie badge.
The woman that was just talking to Geordi with the swept up hair, was that the same one in First Contact that is going up through the Jeffries tube? When it's
it
really
looks
hot,
like her, right? I was thinking that earlier.
Paul?
And
point of view screenshot.
I always felt that it was her body that became the Borg Queen.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's a different actress, obviously, but I always felt like in universe that was her, the body that they pulled to make the Borg Queen.
Okay, I'd never even thought
because they're very similar looking. Spoiler alert: when we do that movie, she's my crush.
Okay. Which one, the Borg Queen or Paul?
Yeah, maybe both. I'll think about it. We got time, right?
I just love that you knew who I was talking about immediately.
Yeah.
Here we go. Now we have to destroy the D, because if they make another movie, we need a big movie ship. We can't have this TV ship.
Yeah.
Anymore. Take that, horseshoe.
I gotta say I still don't agree with it. But I guess you gotta increase the stakes, right?
Gotta increase the stakes. You gotta, and you know what? I mean, if you're going to,
and this was written by
Ronald
D. Moore and Brandon Braga.
So if you're going to increase the stakes, you can't really kill off any of the main 7 cast. You haven't introduced someone else to kill. You're not going to kill Whoopi Goldberg off, so you have to do something to
No.
make the fans go gasp. So there goes the D.
Yeah, and you're not leaving the theater going, "Huh, that was a good episode of Star Trek" or something. You're going, "Wow, stuff happened."
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're glossing over the fact that they kill Kirk, but I think that for next gen fans, I almost like the death of Kirk in this is incidental. As a TOS fan, the death of Kirk in this is strangely incidental to me. It doesn't affect me in any way. It never did. I like the characters in the story better than I like the Kirk sacrifice aspect. I love the stuff of Kirk in the Nexus, but the planet fight is just like
Losing the D, I was kind of in shock because it was so final. Losing Kirk, I think I cried.
Really?
But I was a big Shatner fan, and I had read all his books and such.
What are those rocks called?
Yeah, they help with the deflector dish, gravity, artificial waves, fire.
That's like such a best of both worlds. Or not, yeah, it was best of both worlds moment, right?
Of all captains I'd serve under, I think Riker would be the captain.
I love how, they're like pummeling the Enterprise with like 17 torpedoes. I feel like this was reused from...
Oh, yeah, this was a reused shot right there.
Yeah. That's reused.
That's a famously reused shot. I think they actually showed it in the finale of Lower Decks again. Like when one of the ships was getting destroyed, it mirrored that.
I just don't understand like how the bird of prey can hit the Enterprise over and over and over again without shields, with 6 or 9 or 12 photon torpedoes, and then they finally get a fix on the bird of prey, and one torpedo is moving at them in slow motion, and they're all just like gasp, it's like just a gog at the screen instead of taking evasive maneuvers, and then they get hit by that one stupid torpedo and they completely are destroyed. Like,
Would it be scale and also firepower? Maybe the Klingons are shooting around with BB guns, and these guys have phasers set to kill.
No, if it was scale and firepower, they would be Cardassians. See what I did there?
The Klingons are Shakespearean, so they have to die in an overly dramatic way.
Because Cardassians have scales. You see what I did there? Anyway.
So what you think they should have went out to the Vasquez Rocks to do this, or would that been?
Aren't they at the Vasquez Rocks?
Are they? At least they're not showing the famous silhouette.
I mean,
it might be.
I remember
that was a good choice.
I was working on a movie in LA, and my friend Tom and I were driving home one morning. It was my friend Tom's movie, and I went out there to work on it for free because I was unemployed at the time. And I said, let me just come and help. What the hell? And Laura's like, okay, you can go. And she's I was like, thanks, hon. And we were up all night, like filming all the time. So we're driving home, like literally driving home in his car, falling asleep at the wheel. Like the sun comes into this car and I fall asleep like a cat in a sunbeam. But we passed and I said, oh my God, are we? And I said, where are we? And he said, I don't know. And I said, those are the Vasquez Rocks. That's where they shot Star Trek. And he's like, yeah, I don't care. We got to get home. Because I really wanted to stop. But yeah, again, we had been working for like 16 hours and, it was crazy.
See, Geordi did right there what he should have done in 1000100001.
He reached back for his hat.
Very Indiana Jones.
I kind of like the fact that they cop to the fact that, okay, we got a bunch of kids on this dumb ship and we have to figure out what to do with them.
Yeah, they're always evacuating. It can't be a peaceful place to hang out and live.
Is that a pet tribble? What's that kid holding on to?
Yeah, definitely. No scants to be seen, though.
Man, how long does it take Beverly to do her hair in the morning?
Right?
Can you use replicator technology to do your hair?
Got it by then, right?
Is there nothing replicator technology can't do?
I'm replicating a stitch right now, so... It takes 52 hours to print. That's how big it is.
I'm so impressed that they left all of these evacuation scenes. This takes up a significant amount of time. I guess it's maybe to show stakes or whatever. Like we got to get all these.
We finally see a close up of the carpet, so we know it's kind of like a Berber. I think.
I thought that was just like industrial flooring with some texture on.
Yeah, like office carpet maybe.
It was. I don't think it was carpet. I thought it was like rubber.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we can't go
We need
back.
to ask someone.
Ask the Akutas. Ask Don Drexler. He'll know.
There you go. Dude, when I was at the bar with him and waiting in line to talk to him, not really a line, but you know, people were occupying him.
Don Drexler. I'm sorry, not Don. It's Don Draper. And Doug Drexler. But you're waiting online to talk to him, and what happened?
And I kept going through like, I could know anything about Star Trek ever right now. What do I want to ask him? What do I want to talk about? And I can't remember what I talked to him about because I had had too many green drinks. That's cool that it cranks.
Need them hand cranks, baby.
Warp
Separate
core
the saucer. I love how they have explosive bolts here when it separates. I think that it's so much cooler than when they did it on the TV show where it's just like a slot and, you know, what is it, like rod A into slot B or whatever?
See, I always saw that as venting some type of inner hull atmosphere or something. The lighting is so much better.
There you go. Take that, D.
I was sad, but I was hoping that the saucer section would be the kind of Ship of Theseus thing, where they were going to get a new hull or new lower hull, whatever they call it.
Well, it turns out that it does become that. Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah. So eventually we do get it back.
Yeah.
Oh. What do you think of this?
I thought it was funny the first time I saw
it. Back then it was profane, and now it's commonplace, I think.
Right.
I don't know. When does a curse word become a normal word?
When does a word become a curse word? Right? You could
true.
ask the opposite thing.
Like microb.
Uh-oh. That's gotta hurt your lumbar spine.
He aims the gun, and then it aims itself. It's weird, but it works. It's cool. Okay.
Does it? He didn't hit Picard. He hit the rocks under Picard.
So I guess it doesn't.
There you
itself.
go. Then he got it there. That he got it. I still think that's just a neat design for a ray gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's my first.
It's a UFO. Gun. It's a human skull. Marine always makes jokes about crashing the Enterprise interpersonal panels.
Was she in command when it happened? No, it was Riker. Again, more of these kids. Did they need just filler? Like,
I guess, but it's like the Titanic.
All the producers' kids, they were contractually obligated to put them in. Another thing I like about this is the ship doesn't just crash. It just goes on and on and on and on, destroying the countryside. Like it leaves a 17-mile gash in the countryside. That's a lot of inertia going on there.
I think somebody did the math, and with the mass and inertia, it had to be that long. Oof. But if it stopped quickly with shields and the dampeners were still working, it would have been okay. But obviously they're not because they're getting thrown around.
Yeah. That is a cool shot. That is an amazing shot. I love it.
On the DVDs and Blu-rays, they show you how they did that. There was like a big miniature, and then this was like a part of a hull hooked up to like a forklift driving through the forest. It's crazy how they did it, but it works. It never looks hokey.
They should have had to keep going until it falls off the edge of a cliff and then goes into a river. And it goes over a waterfall.
That's funny. That's the pushing through the forest. The other one was the miniature. You can tell because it's like Fuller's Earth. This is pushing through the forest. That's, everything's just falling on them. Those bridges are just not constructed well.
No. I guess they get complacent. We have inertial.
But hey, Deanna piloted it down safely, and they all survived.
Yeah, why is she at the helm?
I think they all have to cross train, right? And she was the one available.
I suppose.
Like when the D's crash, and she can't be like, "Well, what do your feelings tell you about that?" And that's a great shot where it's just like you just sit there because that was your moment to absorb the fact that we just lost the D.
Mm.
Those two are going to tap dance soon.
Remarkably, nobody dies.
Yeah, probably some injuries. Yeah, I was very sad. Very sad about this. It was like my home got destroyed. Like I felt like fire or hurricane destroyed my house. In my brain, I live there, so.
Wow.
I always thought that was a bad design, that the bridge where all the command officers are on the outside of the ship. It should be in the lower decks in this most protected part of the ship.
That's where the battle bridge is.
Yeah.
I just, you got to figure that is not glass. That's like probably transparent aluminum or transparent steel, and it's broke. Even that broke.
Yeah.
It's enough. That's quite enough nog. Whew. Stuff is viscous.
How's Shatner looking to you? Are you attracted to Shatner yet?
There you go. You again?
At this point, I'm just eating whipped cream.
Like a bad penny. He keeps turning up on the catwalk. On the catwalk. I do my fancy moves on the catwalk.
I'm too sexy for my shirt. Too sexy, it hurts.
Too sexy for Avery's shirt. Too sexy for Avery's
said Fred.
shirt.
These are the stunt doubles,
I
right?
was going to say, I hope Patrick Stewart does a great job there.
His stunt double looked a lot like him.
Stunt doubling it up. Shoot off that rocket.
You think Picard ever considered he would be going to the Nexus?
No. I think that another thing that maybe Next Gen fans could have legitimate beef with in this is that Picard can't solve this problem himself. He's got to go and get Kirk. Like, it does it do the... I know that they need this to set it up so that he can get into the Nexus too, but does it do the character a disservice?
It adds realism because not everyone can bat. Is it 100, 300, 1,000? What is it?
1,000. Well,
where they get all the hits. I don't know, but they can't get it right every time, and sometimes you need help.
And there you go. It's going to sweep you away.
Yeah.
I remember
is he dying?
This specific scene was like in a Showtime commercial, right? This one right here, where it sucks them up into this one, this silhouette shot. They use this like to sell cable TV. And there you go. Whatever it is, they're reborn in there somehow.
It's like the wave that is created by the ribbon in its wake.
And here goes the...
Yeah, that was messed up.
I love that.
Right.
And they just destroy the
I knew they
ship.
didn't kill the whole bridge crew. Blows up like in Superman. I knew they didn't kill the whole bridge crew, so I knew we were getting a time reset.
All right, here we go. On the carousel.
Merry Christmas, Papa.
Oh, Papa. Now, this is like Picard's Dickensian fantasy. And so
I'm surprised
for that, I decided as my Trek and Tell here, it's not a Trek and Tell, but it's like a Christmassy show and tell, in honor of Picard's Dickensian fantasy. This is the first book I ever bought. And I still have it. I bought it at a school fair, a Watermill Classic. I bought it the Scholastic Fair where they had like the books on the table.
Those.
Yeah. So look at the cover price on that. Can you see it?
$1.50.
$1.50.
So adjusted for inflation, $27.
So yeah, I bought this. I think I was in 6th grade, maybe.
Wow.
And I still have it. This is for
I
you.
bought the novelizations of.
This is for you, Papa.
Papa, Christmas. Look at him smile. We don't see the man smile that often. This is what he really wants to.
That's supposed to be his wife's, his sister-in-law, right? At first, it's
his
sister-in-law. Yeah, because it's Robert's uncle. Or maybe Robert's just visiting, and that is his wife. And then all of a sudden, Robert, towards the end of the fantasy, calls him Papa.
Ah, that's why they used the wrong actor in the photos, because they needed an age-appropriate character. But look at that smile. And it makes you wonder if this is what he truly wants and anything's available to you in the 24th century. You can't force a family. I mean, you can in a holodeck, But why doesn't he pursue being a family man instead of a career man?
I think because he feels conflicted about it. Like he is who he is, and he's married to his ship. And I understand what you're saying,
Right.
And this is something that Scotty says to Kirk in the beginning. When did Tula have a daughter? When did Tula find time? And he said, if something is important, you make the time. So again, it's the whole theme of time being a fire in which we burn. In this, I really enjoyed
Time
that.
is a fire in which we burn.
But it's like this French country estate Christmas. It's so beautiful.
It's nice, beautiful.
I always imagined myself in a house like that.
Me too. Your house is gorgeous.
But my house is nothing like that. Are you kidding?
It wasn't decorated for Christmas when I was there.
That wood paneling and the portraits, and it looks like something out of Versailles.
I was like, Serenity, don't touch anything. Everything will fall off a pedestal and shatter, and we don't know how much it was. And we might not have enough to cover it.
I love these ornaments. I wish they made these ornaments.
Is it reminding him of the?
Yeah, it's reminding him of the sun going nova.
Right. So he's realizing where he is and what's going on.
Right.
It's almost like the moon to Chakotay to let him know he's dreaming.
I guess so. Is he boxing? Maybe he needs to box.
That's in Battlestar.
Kushimoya. No, that's Chakotay. The only Chakotay episode I remember is them. Oh, was that the name of the episode? Battlestar? I thought you were talking about Battlestar Galactica.
They do a boxing episode in Battlestar Galactica, and it just reminded me.
That's what I was watching just before we were watching this.
Yeah.
I'm on season 1.
I brought this out to add to my space station set.
Oh, 6. You got 6, huh? And there it goes. Those ornaments are out there too.
Yep, ornaments.
There was a little snow squall today. It was tiny. It just lasted for a second and a half.
Now, what building is he looking at in there? It's like a snow globe, but a holographic.
No, he's just looking out the tree. The tree has ornaments.
Oh,
and I see now. This is weird. So, is there a ghost of Soren that lives in the Nexus that has always been there? And when they stop Soren, is he still in the Nexus anyway?
He shouldn't be like trying to get back there. He's still there,
right? And if time has no meaning,
so maybe he's talking to himself right now because we're not seeing his.
Yeah, what difference does it make?
Yeah, maybe he's just talking to himself, and he had kids, and all the kids are Malcolm McDowell, kind of like that Malkovich movie. I got to tell you, Whoopi Goldberg, gorgeous.
I never thought she was gorgeous, but I always thought she was very talented. She looks as good in this movie as she's ever looked. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. Well, I definitely see what Picard sees in her. Papa, Happy Christmas. So this is why we're watching this. It's a holiday.
I love my pony, Papa. Oh, thank you. Oh, my gold bow and my crushed green velvet whiskets. My crushed green velvet whiskets.
I would say gifts don't really matter in the future because you can just replicate anything, but it's a dream.
Look at just the pure joy. Yeah. I love this. Even Laura loves this portion of the movie. She watches Star Trek through osmosis. Like she's in the chair next to the couch reading her newspaper or whatever, and she'll even pick her head up if I'm watching this on TV because she loves this scene.
Do you normally watch it around the holidays? This is the first year I've specifically done it for that reason.
No. Generations is the kind of movie where if I find it on, I'll leave it on, but I don't usually seek it out. Unless for a very specific purpose, like we're doing tonight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this house never ends. Everywhere you look, there's a fireplace and stockings and giant formal dining rooms,
and that's why their old house burnt down is because there's just lit candles everywhere.
You're afraid of candles,
fireplaces. I am.
You have a candle phobia.
Candles and mustaches. So, candle with a mustache, I scream and run away like Boimler.
Right. All I have to do is think of a candle with a mustache.
It's gorgeous.
Even
there's a merry-go-round.
Carousel in their house.
Carousel.
It's ridiculous.
That's funny. Is she on the carousel?
Is that like a Capa de Mont lamp? I had vases like that once.
Don't know what you speak of.
The lamp over Whoopi's shoulder.
Yeah, I see it, but I don't know. I'm not as educated in lamps as you are.
I'm already gone, remember? I can't go with you. Take me with you.
And how does she know that?
What am I, the circus?
Or is she not real? Is she part of the dreams?
Maybe it's an Elorian thing. Like Elorians have like expanded consciousness.
Maybe that's why she can know what's going on when the others can't as much.
There you go. I love it that Kirk is just like badass chopping wood. He's climbing mountains. He's chopping wood.
Yeah.
He's a man's man.
He is. He's one of the last of the generations. Do you put dill in your eggs, your scrambled eggs?
I do now. Yeah. I get fresh dill from the farm, and it's really good.
Yeah. I drink Earl Grey. I put dill in my scrambled eggs. Makes you wonder who I would have been without Star Trek.
Yeah, I never ate dill before, but when we started getting it fresh, I said, oh, dill. And then I remembered him making the eggs. And then you said you put it in your eggs. So I started putting it on my eggs, and it's really freaking good, man.
Yeah, with real butter and, oh, man, just a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, maybe.
Put it on some
That's like a
toast.
purple Dickie. Yeah.
Uh-oh, purple Dickie. Sounds like... Anyway.
The purple D.
Purple D.
Slightly purple Dickie.
Uh-oh, you burned your eggs.
What did he burn, the bacon?
I think he burned the eggs that Riker was making, the one egg that Riker made for everybody.
What kind of egg was it?
An ostrich egg. I don't remember.
Something, yeah. Yeah.
It was a speckled Cardassian egg.
Something like that. Worf liked it.
Did Cardassians lay eggs?
This brings up memories of that recent fan film CGI thing they did where Shatner played himself for the motion capture, but they used, I think, the images from this movie for that, right? Kirk? Was that this Kirk?
I mean, it would have to be. They would have to, because this is when he passes, so...
Yeah.
His butler.
See, I like dogs, but I think if dogs got junk that big, they need to wear pants.
I just like my little sweet kid. Oh, speaking of which,
gorgeous.
Here's another Christmas show and tell. Now,
Where's
I
Penny,
have
Penny,
a pair
Penny,
of Christmas socks, but Laura bought me these a
Aw.
couple of years ago, so I wear these every Christmas.
Oh, is that actual Penny?
Yeah, that's a shot of Penny.
Wow. I need my Penny merch. Just saying.
I got Penny merch.
Oh, I have to
it's
say,
a match set.
you're going to have to apologize to Crystal for me. I forgot to write her name on the card.
Oh, that's okay. She's the interloper anyway. Nobody loves her.
Okay, but I felt bad afterwards. It was already in the mail, and I was like, do I dive in there and commit a felony for Crystal?
No,
or
it's
just
okay.
let it
Thank
go?
you for remembering her.
A
This
horseshoe.
This is such a Shatner. It's anybody would have called this Antonia, but for him, it's Antonia. It's like, come on.
Antonia. I find it interesting that Star Trek, the characters go on for so long that pretty much all of them develop into like closer to the actor than the actual character. Where they're Shatner's riding horses and stuff.
Well,
and
play,
different things.
Play to his strengths, right? He gets to do what he wants.
Yeah.
Look, I'm on set. I get to ride horses all day. He might have shot it at his range.
Yeah.
Who knows? I love that he cracks that egg one hand.
Yeah, he cracked it properly.
That's
I've taught Rennie how to do that when she was 3, and she's been able to do it since.
That's I can't do it. I still can't do it. I can barely crack an egg with 2 hands, and then I have to like pull it open, and the yolk breaks, and shells go into the pan, and
we're all good at different things. I'm a
good cook, though.
Yeah, the way I used to train people to crack eggs with one hand is just hand them like a flat of eggs and say, just practice. I don't care how many eggs you use, but by the end of the day, you're going to be doing it with one hand. Rennie got it right away.
They're whisking nothing.
Yeah.
There's nothing in that pan. And
No eggs?
It's like a cast iron skillet, and they're grabbing the handle with like no rag, no leather thingy.
Yeah, so it's not hot.
Right? Exactly. I mean, if
Yeah,
that was a real
okay.
skillet, they wouldn't be able to touch it.
Right, you'd need a pot holder of
Something.
some sort. Yeah. Do you like Himalayan salt on your eggs? Sometimes I have that.
The pink salt? Yeah, we have that.
Yeah.
I usually just like, Morton's when it rains, it pours.
Yeah.
There you go.
Iodized or uniodized?
Some toast. Oh, definitely iodized. Got to iodize that stuff. Iodize it all, baby. Then I won't get goitus.
There's many thoughts on that. 3 pieces of toast?
Thank
Now,
you,
is that for
thank you,
him or
Robert Kennedy
Antonia?
Jr. That's for him and Antonia. I love how Picard hesitates before he goes in because he knows he's going to walk in on them boning. I'd say the universe owes me one. Scotty steals this line. Does he steal this line from Scotty, or does Scotty steal this line from him? I was saying. I think Scotty's when your great grandfather
he stole it from Scotty because that episode took place before this. Relics, Relics. That's a great episode.
The episode.
Oh, come on, man. Shatner looks good. I think this is Shatner's last Kirk look that I liked because I don't think he played Kirk after this, did he?
I think he did for a TV commercial or something, and he looked. He looked like so up.
I went through a Star Trek rabbit hole of commercials that they were in all around the world. Him and Leonard are in like a German car commercial or something too, which is interesting.
I'm gonna go up there and tell her what she means to me. Antonia, get the lube.
It's a lovely house.
This is the dream logic right here. Boom.
Yeah.
Through one door,
but he's kind of confused. I don't know. When that happens to me, I don't know if I'm confused as much.
I don't remember my dreams enough, and they're always completely disjointed. So there's never really any linear moments in my dreams in any way.
Different brain types. But I practice dreaming a lot, so
practice makes perfect.
Oh, so Kirk knows where he is, and it's different. Yeah.
There's Tango.
Yep.
I don't know if it's Tango.
Were these his personal horses? Probably.
Butler and Buttercup and Tango.
Buttercup. He probably rented them to the movie, but so he had to ride his. You would make sense to ride your own horse. Like I'm not a horseman.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if there's some kind of certification you need to get that kind of stuff into a film. I did work on a short film where they were riding horses, but the guy whose property we were shooting the film on owned the horses, and he was like he kept horses. So
they always frighten me. I think they're beautiful, but powerful, and I don't want to get too close to them.
Beasts. Yeah, no, they're daunting. They're daunting creatures.
Yeah, I'm afraid of any animal bigger than Penny.
I'm afraid of Penny.
She's a snuggle bug.
She is so sweet. She is the sweetest, happiest little girl. It astounds me like every week, just what a gentle little soul she is.
You're a lucky man.
Yeah. So, jumped that ravine 35 times, scared the hell out of me every time, but not.
And it's too good. That's what gets them. It's too good.
Yeah, this is always the lesson of Star Trek. We can never just be happy. Though there's no adversity here. It's not real.
Well, that's his moon. That's his moon. He knows it's not real.
Well, call the stuntman.
Yep. He did most of the horseback, but he didn't do the jump.
You know, it occurs to me that we do see Picard with his own saddle riding horseback in Next Gen a bit.
Next Gen.
So
yeah, it's where the ship gets taken over.
Wouldn't it be better if they were riding together, because Picard is an accomplished horseman too, and he doesn't really get to jump gulches or ravines or crevasses. And
my thought is production wise is because he was they were going to do that stunt and they didn't want the lead actors there for the stunt. They didn't need them there, so they just wrote it that way.
I guess I don't know.
They blocked it that way. But it would have been cool, yeah.
But just look at the horsemanship.
It would have been cool if it just turned into a Western, and they were Butch and Sundance.
It becomes North Star.
North Star. I love North Star.
But I love the way that he just trots the horse around, and it's like he incorporates it into his performance. Look at the way he does that. You can tell he's just an accomplished horseman, and he's showing off a little bit for the camera, but it so works in the scene. It's just another little touch in this movie that's Kirk. It reminds me of times in TOS where someone would ask him a question and all he would have to do is give a smirk or cock an eyebrow, and he said a million things with just that one look. Shatner is really good at just doing what do they call it? Business or whatever, but incorporating it to make a statement.
Hmm. I remember hearing lots of people ragging on it because of Shatner riding horses. But I mean, if you got the talent, why not use it? That just added so much bravado
Mm-hmm.
to Kirk right there that he can do that too.
And this is one of my favorite scenes. He's really good in this scene.
Yeah. And at the time, my two favorite captains, teaming up, squee everywhere, squee. Oh, love that.
He still got that Shatner charm, man. So he can still turn it on.
Like I said, I only met him for like 30 seconds, but he charmed me in those 30 seconds, and all he was doing was sitting there.
And they warp out.
So
of
all
the
you
Nexus.
have to do is decide to leave the Nexus.
Exactly. It's kind of like capitalism. All you have to do is decide not to have money. There you go.
Thank you, Reset.
There you go. You got to show those great sun.
It's a way to time travel. So would Soren time travel? No. Would he go into the Nexus and then time travel back to where before he was beamed out of the Nexus?
Yeah, I don't know. So he could still be there living out his fantasy. And there's going to be another piece.
And is that yet another?
There's another piece of Picard in there. There's a piece of Kirk in there.
It's the same as Guinan, right? Alorian?
Exactly.
Is that it?
Alorian, yeah.
Yeah. So he's still in there a couple times now, maybe.
And
maybe the third time he's going to be in there.
Right? He's going to run into himself. He's going to start battling in the Nexus to kill the other versions of himself.
And why didn't they use the reset to... because they had to save the planet from being destroyed.
Mm-hmm.
So they couldn't let the ribbon. But if Kirk died, let the ribbon come again and then try it again.
Now, this to me is a very awkward fight. It's just like weird things going up and around bars. And I'm not crazy about the set design for this sequence.
I felt it wasn't a death worthy of Kirk's life.
I can see that, but he is saving something. Like he's dying. It's a noble death.
Well, he saved everybody on the Enterprise D, all those families and kids and the crew.
And the planet,
And the planet. Planet seems uninhabited. Seems like a rock.
Oh, I mean,
I don't know if they expanded that in the
they just CGI'd the
novels,
cars out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't know. I just who built all those catwalks if the planet's uninhabited? He had got some workers in there.
Well, it was Soren. He was he's a handy guy.
I was going to say.
Or he just spent his family's life savings.
No, I
guess he could just replicate it, right?
That's what he did in that lifetime he spent in the Nexus. He was a carpenter. He was a carpenter. He was a carpenter and a metallurgist.
He brought all this out with him. No, I don't know. Where do you get diamond plate in the 20th?
I don't know. See this. This is the scene that just is so weird to me. It's just like, how do we make this exciting? Oh, we sway back and forth underneath the bars. It's like they're in a jungle
it's the
gym.
classic Star Trek film final battle, right?
And like, where did this come from? They're on a cliff all of a sudden? I'm so confused by the geography of this movie. The geography of this is like the geography of the Overlook.
Yeah. Captain Kirk is climbing a mountain. Why is he climbing a mountain? To get to Cadet Listen Linda or Soren, probably.
I think that's the Queen of Yosemite.
Yep, Queen of Yosemite.
And why is
so it's cloaking, but it's still there, right?
Yeah,
it's cloaking, but it's still there. Just in case people try to stop him.
Boom! Breaking your back.
Or when he bought it at the the dealership for destroying weapons that destroy suns and stuff. They were like, "Do you want it with the cloaking package?" And he was like, "I guess." How much more is it?
The extended warranty.
Yeah. So how many suns can this destroy?
He dropped it.
At least one, maybe two if they're lined up.
If I don't get that back in time, I won't be able to slide.
Yeah.
There we go. Oh gosh. See, now this is also very awkward. Just the way this thing moves, you can tell it's like on a gimbal or something. It reminds me of the end, because I saw Search for Spock so many times. I can see every scene in that movie begins to show. And there's the scene at the very end when Krug is on the cliff and it kind of falls and he's like hanging on and Kirk is like, "Give me your hand." And that's when he kicks him in the face. But when that cliff falls down, you can just see it shimmying down the
Yeah.
rock face where the plastic pieces were separated. It was just.
I thought he
reminds
was
me of
going to
that.
survive there. I never thought Kirk was going to die because it's Captain Kirk.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. It's like this thing is bolted into the rocks, but it seems to
Yeah.
snap. It seems to be bolted into 47 different spots, and they all snap off at once. And
Well, they can only hold so much stress.
and
I
he
guess
goes.
it's one of
off
those
that
like
thing.
bridges. You have to have every piece working, or it doesn't work.
I guess I don't know.
I would have, I think it was just the fact that they killed him off in such a finite way. I think if they let him go back into the ribbon somehow, or like something happened to where you'd see him in the Nexus still.
No, just read the Shatnerverse books. They pick up right from here.
Yeah, the Return,
Yeah,
I
the
think, is the
Return,
first one
yeah.
after this.
Uh-huh. I
He
enjoyed
gets
that book.
Borgified.
Yeah, I enjoyed that book. See, look
Yeah,
at
it's
this. Like how many? Like who put these?
It
who
was
put-
good that they showed you
He's done a
the
elaborate catwalk, like-
metal stressing to build tension.
Yeah, I guess. He's gonna make that jump. Got to make that leap. Dun,
But he always knew he'd die
dun,
alone.
Dun, dun.
He always knew he'd die alone.
I don't understand that line either. It's just like he didn't die alone. He died with Picard right at his side.
Well, we all die alone.
There we go. See, it just breaks off like 47 different times. He finally catches the thing. Isn't that lucky?
And he turns it off,
He
right?
turns it
before-
off.
So
and
he saves
it's
everyone.
Like, how many metric tons of chain did he have to use to build this complex?
Because it's not just cloaked, right? It's like phased
cloaked-
or something.
it's
So
cloaked and
Picard couldn't have
clamped.
done it by touch.
Yeah, I don't know. Boom, 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 snap. Ah, flying squirrel. Woo!
Yeah. That spin that it had always looked kind of strange to me, but I think I just remember sitting there stunned.
And how does Picard understand this interface? Are these like universal weapons interfaces?
They got to be like, like triangle, two lines,
mean-
square.
Like, what is that language?
Yeah, remote control.
Get away from my rockets.
And why does he keep bending the gun back? Just so it goes on the catwalk.
This is pretty ingenious the way he tricks him.
Did you ever read William Shatner Star Trek movie memories?
I haven't read
He talks about
any
this scene?
of the cast books. I probably should. And the making of books, I
Mhm.
never read any of those things. I only ever read the novels.
I read both Star Trek memories and Star Trek movie memories, and it's kind of sad because it ends. He ends the book right after the filming of this, and he gets a call for reshoots. So he writes that he's hopeful that Kirk won't die.
Oh. Oh, well.
So this ending is with reshoots. I wonder what it was like before those.
I don't know. We have to ask Ron D. Moore.
Hmm.
Or
I would.
Who directed this? It wasn't Frakes.
Who directed
Frakes
this?
did
It
First
wasn't Frakes.
Contact.
I didn't read who did this. I think I know most who directed most.
It
but
was Herb Solow.
don't know. Yeah, very sad moment. And I remember crying in the theater. And it was weird. I didn't cry like I did in Star Trek 2. Because, I don't know, it was just different.
Star Trek 2 didn't make me cry either. I mean, I got affected by
What?
it, but it didn't make me cry. Mirror
You're
Image
not-
makes me
you
cry. I'm
can't
not
be
like dead
human.
inside. Mirror Image makes me cry every time I watch it.
Star Trek 2 didn't make you cry.
No, not particularly. I mean,
I'll try to process that.
okay.
I still cry. I cry looking at the ornament.
Well, I don't
They made a
want-
Star Trek ornament out of that.
I know.
Why didn't they make a bloody Kirk under a scaffolding ornament?
And when you press it, it just says, "Oh my."
Oh my! He explained very recently how he acted the scene and how he thought he didn't get it quite right.
Elaborate.
He was supposed to be seeing like the truth, like something that he didn't know before,
Mhm.
and he didn't feel like he conveyed it. But I think he's a worse critic than we are, because I think I got that out of what he was doing.
Yeah, I see. I didn't get that. I know after I heard him say like his motivation for that part at the very end. Like here, I thought he was dead. Then he's not. Then he moves again, and it's just like this just keeps going on. And when he says, oh my, I guess
Oh my.
that's what he said. He said that Kirk, I thought that maybe he's realizing, oh my God, I'm gonna die, or oh my God, this really hurts, and then he's dead. Oh my, something's entangled in my spleen. But like you said, it's
I think he was supposed to be seeing something.
He was seeing something like the next stage in the adventure,
which I guess is
which is something he
what we
didn't,
saw
like
that-
you said, like it's something unexpected, something, it's a new horizon, a new frontier.
And I guess that fan film, in cooperation with Paramount and everybody and the Roddenberrys, is supposed to take place right after that to him. So that's what he's seeing, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Maybe that's where I heard about him talking about this scene.
Yeah.
In the interviews for that. They did like a half-hour interview with him on their channel.
It's a beautiful helicopter
Why does
shot
Picard
here.
bury him in rocks? I mean, it's gorgeous and it gives you time to grieve, but it doesn't make sense in...
I think maybe what
the
he's doing
universe.
is, maybe this is, at least he can't bury him at all, right? He can't leave him out there. So I guess they could retrieve his body and bring it back. I thought maybe he just put it in rocks for safekeeping because he doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know when he's going to get back. Maybe he's got, he could have hiked for 3 days before he saw that shuttle. So maybe he always intended to go back for Kirk. But this is, he can't lug the body, and this just keeps it safe from predators. It keeps it safe from vultures.
I love that computer monitor from 1989.
Yeah.
So in the books, he gets beamed up by Borgs and Romulans?
Yeah,
or was
something
Romulans
like that.
the second
And
book?
They Borgify him. They put nanites in him.
They Borgify him to bring him back to life, which
and
makes
then he
sense.
finds some weird mud that takes all the nanites out of his body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Spock is in that
he
book.
always finds a way.
holographic McCoy is in that book.
Was it Tasha Yar, the alternate version daughter? What was her name?
I don't, Celia?
Maybe.
I don't
And
I don't
then there was
remember.
something with the mirror universe. One of them was a mirror universe Kirk, right? I think.
I read that book so long ago. I'd have to reread it to let you know.
Oh, that's part of the plastic stuff I have on my wall.
There's some Spot. There he is.
Spot. Aw.
This is like the equivalent. That kid's gonna be all right. I'd say it's working just fine.
So this disproves my theory that he had like emotions all the time, unless it just heightened them. Brent's great in this film.
Yeah, I think that he gets to have a lot of fun. I think the most thankless tasks always in these films are for poor Troy and for Beverly, but I feel like even Riker didn't get to do a lot in these films. I think Troy had more to do than Riker did in this. Riker is just like on the bridge. Isn't that like a Priceless Artifact? Just throw it aside.
Yep.
I don't want it.
And you don't see Livingston the fish.
Right.
Livingston wouldn't come back for the film.
He's gone.
He was holding out for more money in his own trailer. No Livingston.
Some frat boys swallowed him during a hazing prank.
Wow.
There's the horseshoe. The destroyed horseshoe.
And they destroyed it, literally. It's right there.
Mm-hmm. And I love how
So
Riker
sad.
says we're going to live forever. But I love this little epilogue. Someone once told me that time is a fire in which we burn. I think time is a companion that follows us along the way. And I guess maybe that's to speak to legacy and to passing the torch. And
I think they successfully passed the torch.
Not me.
But I think...
I love this. This is my favorite. It's the Riker grin. That's why Roddenberry hired him. Right there. I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm having a Riker moment.
Riker's a happy man. Picard had time to shower and change.
I wonder if you beam, they can leave the dirt behind. Like, can you do a beaming shower?
Yeah, I think you can leave anything behind.
That's the equivalent of like doing a beaming decontamination, right?
Yeah. I remember being so sad in many ways and yet grateful for the movie, but I was sad we lost the D and I was sad we lost Kirk. But I think, which is weird, I was more sad that we lost the Enterprise D.
Well, yeah. I mean, I was sad in Search of Spock when the Enterprise blew up. So Look at this. So, wow, we got through it.
Kirk, William Shatner. Build last.
Captain Harriman, Alan Ruck.
Lieutenant Tim Russ, right there.
There you go.
Our tiny screens didn't lie to us. Patty Asuki, Nurse Agawa.
There she is.
Unfortunately, she's no longer with us.
Yeah, she died of cancer just about a month or two ago, right?
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. I really liked her. I would have loved to see her character develop more.
Well.
Great film. Now, are you the type like me that'll sit in the Star Trek movie the whole way through all the credits just to hear the beautiful music?
I do now. I never used to sit through the credits, but number one, I used to go, as I got on in years, I had a friend who I did the radio show with, Howard. It was his show. I would just appear on it every once in a while. But he would always sit through the credits because he was like a soundtrack guy. So he got me into the habit of at least sitting through some of the credits to hear the soundtrack. And then the Marvel movies came out where you had to sit because you had the mid-credit Easter egg and the post-credit bonus scene. So you had to.
Yeah, I do it now all the time because so many movies do that now.
Yeah, so you never know. I mean, I think Ferris Bueller might have been the first one that I saw that did it.
Go home.
Yeah,
yeah. Scenic artist Denise Okuda, Alan Kobayashi almost, and Anthony for Doug Drexler. Doug Drexler right there.
There's Doug. Yep.
Yeah. But, I think being a Trekkie, like you read these names and you know who the people are. Like how many other people know who a production designer is or a costume designer or a, of course, Dennis McCarthy. But like you read these things and you get to know who they are.
No, it's funny. Like I used to watch Monty Python all the time on Channel 13. And who did the light? Who did the lighting for Monty Python? I remember to this day because it was such an unusual name, and I saw it a million times every time the show was going off. The lighting was Otis Eddy. Otis Eddy.
There's an Albie in one of the Next Generation credits, I think, here and there.
Oh, so this was ILM that did the visual effects. So
yeah, they know what they're doing. Yeah. They did well.
They certainly do. Yeah. And I'm just
so it was Michael Westmore who did the makeup.
And who did where were the locations? I wonder if they list the locations here.
It'll say Howie Weed. I bet you he's fun at parties.
Yeah, miniature crash sequence. You were right. So they had a mini doing the crash as well.
Yeah, they had a miniature and they had an Enterprise D on like a forklift driving through the woods. You can kind of tell because the miniature is slowed down. Like slow motion to give it more distance, everything flying, and the other one is just trees flop getting run over.
So this was shot on digital. It says digital film recording, or maybe just aspects of it.
Maybe special visual effects, Santa Barbara Studios. Kathy Simek, optical effects. The Post Group.
They had some
Illusion Arts
too. Yeah, there was no, let's see, thanks to the town of...
Yeah, matte paintings. I saw a couple of matte paintings in this while we were watching it. DTS. I love DTS still. Now it's Atmos everything, but I still love my DTS.
Okay, so the Lady Washington was the boat.
See.
Artwork, camera, color.
Valley of Fire State Park, Nevada Film Commission, U.S. Forest.
So they did Pasadena. So none of
Jerry Taylor.
There you go.
Got a shout out. 33119. I always like to read the number. 33119.
9. And that's the end. And let's get the Paramount logo. There it is.
Yep. 22 stars. 22.
And that was Star Trek Generations.
Happy holidays. Yeah. Wow. So, should we talk about it a little bit since we just watched it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can go first. Like I was saying, I think that I maybe misinterpreted, maybe underestimated, maybe just never gave it the proper chance it needed. Next Gen, and I still have sort of a love-hate relationship with a lot of it. But I'm getting to like it more because we're doing the rewatch here with Treksploration, and I've grown to like these characters based on these films. I'm like that guy that got into Star Trek by watching Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, and then went back and discovered the original series. This is how I feel about Star Trek The Next Generation. And quite frankly, had it not been for Generations and how much I really genuinely enjoy the film, I never would have given DS9 a chance. I never would have given Enterprise a chance. I had written Star Trek off. It was just done to me because I just don't like Next Gen in my mind. But then when I saw this film, and especially First Contact, you know, it's just like, wow, these are really well-drawn characters. I'm really enjoying all of this. And then I heard the shade that fans were putting onto this film, and I couldn't understand why. But then I realized that fans suck. We just bitch to bitch.
A lot of them,
you know, for no reason. So, I mean, to me, that is a perfectly fine, I guess, entree into feature films for this cast. I feel it's a very good Picard-focused story. I think there's a lot of good Data stuff. And for the most part, the ensemble's okay, but you did have to make room for Kirk, you know? So,
yeah.
So I know I'm going on and on. Like maybe I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but I'm just trying to.
Not at all.
I've never really encapsulated this or said it in a one cohesive way. It's always just been feelings I've had. But again, in many ways, this movie is the reason that I'm still a Star Trek fan with all the 90s Trek and all the current Trek.
Many ways.
It's not saying that something else might not have tipped me into it again, but for me, this was the catalyst that tipped me back into it. How about you?
I think the Next Gen cast was handled amazingly in this film. It definitely has that Next Gen feel and flavor to it. It's the same but different, but in the right way. I feel that Kirk in this film was done well, or written well and acted well, and it was a good direction. I think something's off with the death scene, that it seemed rushed or like not thought through enough. And like we've heard, Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga were writing this while they're writing All Good Things and trying to work on everything all at once. So, wow. It just seems like Kirk is almost an afterthought to the plot and kind of just plugged in. And I just would have liked a different death for Kirk if we were going to lose Kirk.
All right. I mean, I think the Nexus death in the beginning was a good way for him to go, because at least it was in space. It was a space thing. And, you know, as a MacGuffin, I think the Nexus is a very unique concept. So I don't mind that this is how they decided to bring Kirk and Picard. They had to figure out a science fiction-y way to get these characters together on screen. And I think that
it succeeded with.
And I think that this is a very good way, because it's not just like they're in some stasis chamber or in like a transporter buffer pattern buffer. They're doing real character work for these characters at the same time that they're using the MacGuffin, the gimmick, to get them together. So you get a little bit of a deep dive into Picard's psyche, which jives with the whole rest of his journey, his arc in this film. You get this dive into Kirk's psyche of maybe some of the regrets that he's had, that he's only voiced tangentially in the original series, especially like in The Naked Time, when he's just never lose you. Like he loves the Enterprise, but he resents the Enterprise. He resents his command. He resents everything that it takes away from him. So like this is him getting to live that other life, and they allude to it, you know, pretty clunkily with Sulu's daughter in the beginning. But these are all themes that have run through Kirk's character the entire time there's been a Kirk. So you can tell, say what you will about Braga and Moore writing this film, but at least Moore, anyway, knew Kirk inside and out. He knew these characters. I was just listening to an interview he did with the Imaginary Worlds podcast. It's like 10 years old, but it was just coincidental. And then you said, let's watch this. And he was talking about, you know, the decision to kill Kirk and that kind of stuff. So
what did he say?
He felt that I think, first of all, it was mandated, but I'm trying to remember exactly how he worded it. But it's like he felt it was necessary in many ways, because stories have to end, and if they don't end, then what's the point? So you know,
well, that's our lives.
Yeah,
our lives have a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah, so it's almost doing an injustice to a character that you love if they just live on in perpetuity. But it seems to work for comic book heroes, so they live on in perpetuity. If they die, they come back, you know?
Sitting here reflecting on it, I think the thing that bothers me about Kirk's death, and maybe didn't bother me as much, was in with Spock's death in Star Trek II, and Harv Bennett was opposed to this, and they filmed it without his permission and put it in the film. But the whole soft landing of the coffin on the Genesis planet, because you walked out, yes, Spock died, and it's horrible, and we'll never see Spock again. But you had that little bit, or will we?
Well, I mean,
plus what to remember.
Yeah,
but with this, it was dead.
Yeah, dead until the Borg.
Maybe, yeah, but maybe the piling the rocks on him was a way of showing the passing of time. Because, like, if the shuttlecraft, as soon as he died, if the shuttlecraft came to help out the Enterprise D and pick up Picard, you know, his body's still warm. So unless it's Tasha Yar, you can bring him back to life.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't know. I feel like Picard, that's what he had to. He couldn't lug the body with him. He had to get to a place where he could hail a shuttle or find an SOS. Like, did he have a communicator with him? Did he have, was he in range? Is it like Quark and Odo climbing up that mountain so they can get in range to be rescued, you know? Like, I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's just a practicality thing. And it's a beautiful visual with him standing over the Karen, the stone Karen, and just I guess that was a helicopter. Today it would be a drone shot, but I'm sure that was a helicopter shot.
Helicopter back then, yeah. It's kind of like what was it? Deadpool, Wolverine, and Wolverine. You can always go back and get them, I guess, but they did in the books. So.
Yeah. I the one thing that I will say that it struck me on this, maybe because we didn't have the sound up that much, so I couldn't focus on the dialogue. I could only focus on the reaction shots and the emotion as they portrayed it. And one thing I never noticed that I didn't like, and I'll probably never be able to unsee it, is that Picard's a little too agog at Kirk. It's a little too much fanboy squee. Like, Kirk says, "Hey kid, you're great," and winks, and Picard's like, "That's Captain Kirk." You know, you'll notice that as he goes, like, Kirk will just do an offhand thing, like, "Oh, for the captain of the Enterprise," and he's like, "He called me that, but you've been the captain of the Enterprise for like 9 years, dude." You know, you were captain of the Enterprise. You know, Kirk was the only one who didn't give up the captaincy of the Enterprise after a while. No one else had the captaincy longer than him because he refused to freaking leave.
I could see Picard being a fanboy of Kirk, because if you're growing up and you're always wanting to be a starship captain, and that's what you want to be. You want to be a starship captain. Who is the best example, probably at the time, of a starship captain? He probably had a Kirk poster and an action figure on his wall growing up. Maybe.
So, I mean, when you walked out there, I know you say you love it, but you've had time. You're an adult now. You've had time to reflect on this film. Being as invested in this cast and these characters as much as you are, and I know your go-to is, "Oh, I love it," but I know you have a probing thinking mind. Are there things in this film that you wish they had done better, that would have served the characters better?
Kirk's death.
No, I'm talking about the next gen cast.
The next gen cast? No, I mean, Geordi engineered the heck out of that. You know, I mean, he didn't save the ship, but he was able to get everybody to safety, and he did that Indiana Jones role. Beverly was doing what she could as a doctor, right? You can only do so much doctoring. Data had a good arc in there, and if you were paying attention to 7 seasons, that was like a payoff to that whole storyline of trying to become more human. Riker's great; he shines in this movie. Picard, I want to say, I would argue you get to know Picard better in this film than you have in the series so far. Because you get to know more of the inner him and less of the who he wants you to think he is, and more of who he actually is.
Right. And maybe because that's just a necessity of film, you have to have a more concentrated arc that goes from point A to point B, very point A to point B, not V, but in a very overt way. You need to know, like, he was here in the beginning, now he's here at the end, and you don't have, again, 7 seasons to evolve a character very slowly like they did in Next Gen.
Worf was a little underserved in the movie.
Well, he got to do that funky walk the plank bit.
Yeah, maybe that's why they included that. I don't know. But I think, like, as screenwriting goes, you could use this as an example of a really job well done.
Okay.
It does have the clunk factor for me on the Kirk's death. I don't know what else would be better.
Yeah, well,
I might just be a bitter 12-year-old inside of me upset that they killed Captain Kirk.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, yeah, I was really not phased one way or another much about the deaths of the characters.
Even Kirk, but growing up a TOS fan, that didn't.
Yeah, no, I love Captain Kirk. I still think, what would Captain Kirk do? Many times a day, I literally say that to myself. Okay, what would Kirk do?
I'm on what would Picard do,
and that, or Sam. What would Sam Beckett do?
Oh yeah, that you got to go to.
Yeah, but frankly, to me, they're still just characters. So artistically and story wise, I like the fact that we get these death scenes, that it gives gravitas and meaning to the characters. But at the same time, no, it's not affecting me emotionally, and I don't know why that is. Maybe because they are more comic book heroes, more sci-fi action heroes. Where, to me, Sam Beckett's just a good guy who I want to see succeed. Like, I feel his pain. These guys are more heroes. And of course they're going to die as they lived, saving the day, being the hero. Doing, Spock's death was sad, but it wasn't tragic. He saved,
Right.
It's like Harry Bailey. He saved the life of every man on that transport. And Kirk doing this is just, of course he's gonna die in action somehow. These guys don't die in bed.
And now that we're talking about it and thinking about it out loud, I'm thinking, writing Kirk's death, they, being fans of the original series and original series movies, it's kind of like a callback or bookending Kirk falling off the mountain in Star Trek V, where, he knew he wasn't going to die. And so he ended up dying, falling off a mountain.
I guess, but he wasn't alone. So Picard was there with him, or was it Picard? Maybe it was a Nexus fantasy. Maybe he thought he was alone. The only thing that I didn't like, again, about Kirk's death is I just don't like that final sequence. I just don't like that set. The rocks and the metal.
Something off about it, right?
Yeah, it's just ugly. It's just ugly.
You think that's what it is?
So it makes all the action that takes place on it clunky, because it's very limited what you can do. You either have these slidey rocks or catwalk. I mean, they made it work so much better in Arena with a Gorn that moved at 1.5 miles an hour. Even that was more exciting than what we got here. So I don't know.
What if Kirk had jumped in front of Picard or something, so Picard could get to stop the reactor? Like if he took the bullet for Picard, that would have been a good passing of the torch.
No, because then I think that you do a disservice to Picard. Picard also has to be a hero in this, so he can't be the damsel that Kirk rescues. They have to be co-equal partners. So Kirk is off doing his thing with the remote control. So that Picard is ultimately the one that saves the day, even though it's just you're putting on the locking clamps and backing away. He was instrumental in saving the planet. It was his actions finally that, and you need that for the narrative arc of Picard in this movie, because he's the captain. I mean, he's technically the hero. Kirk is the interloper here.
Mm-hmm. Well, I just imagine in my head, like, you hearing or seeing the shot fired and hearing it, and Kirk and Picard looking at each other for that 3 seconds, and then Kirk falls.
Yeah, I hate that. That's movie cliche.
You don't like that?
That's movie cliche stuff. And that's the same thing.
Like cliche.
It's kind of like the same thing they did on Fisher Quest when Dax gets killed. He walks in holding his stomach. Oh, I wonder if he got. If he got a fatal wound. Yeah,
movie wound. It could be repaired now, but I'd rather just hide it for a few more minutes.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Die.
I'd rather just die in my chair.
Yeah.
Because
I'd be like, somebody hand me the blue light. Woo, 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 woo.
somebody get Crusher's magic in here, huh?
Yeah. I think, and the whole cast looked gorgeous and was well acted. I think nobody portrayed their character differently than we learned up until this point.
And I think that
you're going.
They fleshed out the. I again, you have Klingons as the main adversary, but at least they used Klingons that we knew. You know, as Lurs and Bator, so at least that was like a callback. Because now, what is this? The 1, 2, 3. This
kind
is
of like Klingon villain movies.
Yeah, this is like the 4th Klingon villain movie, right?
I think they do that for a reason.
We got 3, 5, 6, and Generations.
Yeah,
and then
I think
then
they
it
do that
becomes
for a reason.
Borg, and then plastic surgery, and then Romulans.
Plastic surgery, the enemy.
Yeah.
I think they do it for a reason. It's to get a wider audience. And what do most people that don't know anything about Star Trek know? Got the pointy ears.
Yeah,
Klingons.
Dr. Spock, the Klingon.
Yeah. And beam me up, Scotty. Right. Captain Kirk saying, beam me up, Scotty. About those 3 things. So if they include Klingons, they'll go like, oh, that looks fun. So I think that's an attempt to get the casual fan. But look, the First Contact, one of the most successful films out of the whole franchise, is about Borg, which nobody except people who watch Star Trek would know what Borg are.
But that's just an exceptionally good film.
Yeah.
So,
word of mouth.
I wonder if that's
so. Is it time for final thoughts and ratings?
Yeah, I think I kind of.
Are we going to go through this? Are we going to go through this again as a whole show?
No, I think I kind of gave my final thoughts about the death of Kirk and how this movie turned me onto the broader '90s Trek universe and got me back into fandom. It's in large part responsible for getting me back into Star Trek fandom. So I'll always owe it that, and I'll always have a soft spot for it. And I just genuinely like it. It's not like I owe it a debt, so therefore I'm going to pay it homage, because I genuinely enjoy watching the film every time I watch it. It's not like I get through it, So,
yeah, it's pleasurable the whole time, every time.
But do you have any final thoughts, or?
Do you want to do a rating?
Oh yeah, I mean, because of everything, I'll say that of course there are better Star Trek films, but I think this is one of the better ones. So if we're gonna do out of 5, I guess I will do 4 Dickensian crushed green velvet Christmas jackets out of 5.
I like it. My final thoughts are, like you said, every time I watch it, I enjoy it. I know what's coming. I get that feel that I love, whatever that ineffable feel of Next Gen. I get that. And I get it more so. It's kind of like extra strength Next Gen. It's the good stuff. It's not cut with anything. And I like the fact that it was Ronald D. Moore and Brandon Braga who wrote it. I really like both their writing. I really do enjoy both of them. Rick Berman, of course, at the helm. I enjoyed Kirk in it, and I enjoyed seeing the what of the original cast we had. And I understand why we didn't get the full cast back, because we just didn't have the time. It's a movie. You only got so much, and you can't have like 14 stuff for 14 people to do. It's barely enough for 8 or 9. But yeah, I can't fault it. But like you said, it's not one of the better ones, but it's not one of the worst ones. It's good, but it's not the best. So I would agree with you with the 4, but I'll give it 4.2 talking tricorders.
Mr. Tricorders?
Mr. Tricorder.
I like it. That, or we should give it, so that's an average of 4.1 blasted Ds.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blasted Ds. Yeah. So still sad about that. But that was a fun little holiday get together.
Thank you. That was a nice idea, Albie. I never would have done that. So I got to put on my Santa tie. I got to show off my Christmas Carol book. I have one last Trek and Tell, since you are all about Wicked these days. This is a book I bought many years ago. You see that? It's The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus by L. Frank Baum.
Wow. I did not know that existed.
The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. Yeah. It's a cute little book. I read it years ago. I don't know if you know this. I used to collect all Santa stuff. I used to research Santa lore. I even went to the Knickerbocker Society in Manhattan once to see like what kind of stuff that they had for the old like New Amsterdam and the Dutch traditions and stuff like that. So I was really into, you know, all like mythology.
That's really nice.
around St. Nicholas. And I have so many books, like Christmas books, St. Nicholas books, Santa books. They're all in a box. You know, again, when you come over to the house, the library will be redone, and I'll show you my vast Santa book collection.
That's pretty awesome. I'm very much like, you know, I have like fleeting thoughts of if and when have an empty nest, I might decorate for Christmas and just never take it down. I had my tree up all throughout the pandemic, couple years. Actually, I took it down moving.
Oh, okay.
The real estate agent came in. It was like, I want to say July, and said, "You're probably going to want to take that down before you show the house. There's just something about it."
Yeah.
I was like, but it's Christmas. And I always, you know, I leave the Christmas decorations up and I just add more around the holidays. It's kind of like a combination of Christmas and Halloween is my motif. So
that's cool. Good for you. I mean, we used to decorate like crazy, or I did. Laura hated it because it turns the house upside down.
It's never too late. You got a few days.
It's just I'm too tired. It's too much. When I'm working
something little.
Oh, this is what
did you put a bow on the door or something?
Yeah. So we'll discuss this when we do shows closer to Christmas. Are we going to do any shows closer to Christmas?
Closer to Christmas? It's Christmas Eve, Chris.
No, these days what I do is I go to like the local nursery, and they have like these little evergreen trees. They're like literally like 4 inches tall. And they decorate them with like a little star and like little presents. And I put it right on the coffee table, and I put the fireplace. I start a fire in the fireplace, and then we just put the presents around the little tree on the coffee table. I used to take the tree down out of the attic, wrap everything in Christmas paraphernalia and ornaments, but you saw my house is, you know, it's not like teeny tiny, but it's cozy,
gorgeous.
But it's cozy.
It's gorgeous.
And there's no like,
it's huge for you four life forms.
There's no extra space downstairs to put a tree without moving something else. So it turns everything.
I had to take down my dining room table.
Right, it turns everything upside down. So it's just like, you know, it's just easier to put this thing on the coffee table. It doesn't disrupt anything. We still have a wonderful Christmas, you know, and life is good. I will get the tree down one day. Yeah, I'll get the tree down one day and get the ornaments back out. And yeah, all my Star Trek ornaments. So my, you know.
The white picket fence, I think you sent me a picture. That looked beautiful.
Yeah, so that's what I'll do. I'll decorate the outside with just some garland and bows. So
I used to decorate the outside, but now I'm like,
it actually makes,
I just decorate the inside.
It makes me feel good.
I'm not looking
because
at
at least I'm putting up some Christmas decoration, you know. So anyway,
yeah, and you go to the tree lighting.
Yep. I mean, I still love
Our street does a thing.
Still my favorite holiday.
Our street does a thing. I think it's Christmas Eve or the night before that. They do. Is it called luminaries? It's like bags with candles in them and stuff.
Oh wow!
Down the whole road, and somebody decorates the whole block for Christmas. It's really nice.
That sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, my friend,
it's still hot out.
Thank you for
this. That about wraps it up for the holiday thing.
Thank you for everyone who stuck with us for watching this. I hope you enjoyed our commentary, our fomentary, our holiday fomentary on Generations. I guess we'll have to figure out the next Star Trek Christmas outing for next year.
I'm hoping Stranger Worlds has a Christmas episode this season. If they got an LA Murder Noir episode, they might have a Christmas
We might have to do Dagger of the Mind next time if nothing else comes out.
Ooh,
Dr. Helen Noel.
Yeah. Hey, we'll reach, but we'll get there.
Sounds good, my friend.
So, everybody, thank you. Have a happy holiday. I hope you're enjoying yourself.
Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
To everyone who became part of our life this year with this new podcast.
Yeah, and thank you, Albie,
old friends,
for starting this podcast and becoming part of my life this year again in a big way.
Oh, thank you for being my sci-fi bestie.
Oh, well, you won't get coal in your stocking if I have anything to say about it.
Oh, thank you. Well, hard times are coming. I might need some coal in my stocking.
It's Christmas. Let's be positive.
So go watch this movie. Trust me. Look at this shirt. Go watch this movie. It's called Mean Girls.
You got it.
Okay.
We'll do.
Okay.
We'll do.
So happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Happy Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy winter solstice. Happy joy.
Have a nice
We're going to have a Festivus dinner, and we're going to eat meatloaf and peas and mashed potatoes.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm excited. And watch the strike. We're very excited. So I guess that about wraps it up for this holiday celebration. Come back every year and watch the same one over and over again, as people do for Christmas. And hopefully by next year, I'll meet that girl, that woman in the small town wearing this shirt.
That'll be good for you.
Know.
You'll become
Right,
it's a timeless classic. Timeless classic.
I'm trying. I grew the scruff. Women don't like faces. I'm wearing the plaid shirt. What else I got to do? I don't know. I got a full head of hair.
You got to leave the house. Anyway, for Treksploration, I'm Chris.
For Treksploration, I'm Albie. No, you got to say, and I'm Chris. That's the only way it works. For Treksploration, for holiday Treksploration, I'm Albie.
Now I'm Chris. Miss.
We'll see you next time.
Ho, ho, ho.